Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All
for
right,
the underground world, every street and borough.
you may learn something.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar
Wicca, welcome to the party.
and Simon.
Howdy.
What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernon's. We're then going to talk about each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. No new patrons, Kamar. I know, right? It's been a rough couple of weeks.
I'm glad you're sitting down. We do have a new Patreon, and I
really?
want to give a big
Really?
shout out to Timothy McCallion.
Do you want to try to say that properly?
McCallion.
Timmy,
Thank
my
you,
man.
Timothy.
Shout outs. Do you have an extra one?
Thank you to all the Patreons, past and present. Just thanks for tuning in, guys. Winter's here. Glad to have you back. Like and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube. Join the Patreon to get the post-show, the show after the show, and legitimately support the show. Some of you guys are so amazing for everything you've done.
Legitimately support the show. That's interesting.
I'm going to do something weird before we start. So I was going through my Spotify rap this year, and my number one artist, this is how much of a mensch I am. I'm giving myself a pat on the back here. My number one artist, the person I listened to most this year, was a friend of mine,
Yes, you were saying
a
that.
British guy in Toronto. Because what I do is when I go to sleep, I have a playlist. He only has one song on Spotify. I have a playlist with just that song. It's on repeat. And when I go to sleep at night, I turn my phone volume all the way down. I just put his song on repeat, and he gets like, let's say in a year, I've given him 100,000 free streams.
100,000.
Well, how many?
It's on
Think about
repeat.
it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
8 hours. If I'm asleep for 8 hours, right, or 7 hours, or whatever amount of time, how many times can a 2.5 minute song play? Like, and you extrapolate that through the year. So,
Well, why don't you just do that with our podcast?
Well,
touche.
I do that.
it's a good point. It's a great point, Simon.
But yeah, congratulations, man. You should.
No, the point was it's not what a dick. What a dick.
Congratulations.
No, it's not.
We're all
That was
super proud of
Kamar.
you.
You're supposed to be happy. I'm doing the subtle nudge to the audience.
What they could do. Yeah,
Yeah, you're a fucking asshole. This fucking guy. I'm out here selling the show, and you're trying to fucking crack fun at me, dickhead.
Just a little sidebar here. But yeah, if you cannot join the Patreon, download us and listen to it on repeat all night.
Yeah, while you're asleep at night. Yeah,
That's awesome.
You got at least 2 episodes in. Kamar, you want to go over the guests so we can do what we do here on the
I
show?
would love to. We start off the week with the heavy podcast 2237, Mike Benz. Then we had
Seemed like a made-up name, no?
2238, John McPhee. They all are.
That seems like a made-up name.
And then lastly, we had 2239, Derek. More plates, more dates. It's an oddball week, and
I like to think about it like if you buy more plates, you'll have more dates. The food. No. Like, yeah.
That would
See
be
this
the-
guy? He doesn't even like comedy. He
that
just,
would be the Middle Eastern twist. But that's what he's implying, right?
He said it like Christopher Walken. More plates.
more plates, more dates.
No, but that's what he's implying, right? We assume from the title.
More
What he's
plates.
implying is that if you
as
lift
in
more, yeah,
lifting,
you'll get more dates.
Not more plates as
More.
in eating.
I believe medulla.
Isn't that
is
what you were saying?
My joke was yes, if you
Yes.
bought more plates, you would have more dates. The food.
Now,
on
were
them.
you saying like more?
like sugar dates?
Okay.
Sugar dates and pistachios.
I didn't get that, but okay.
It's fine. I'm too highbrow for both of you.
Yeah, for sure.
You've never had dates.
Just cut that and then
no, I don't.
edit
I let
that
it fly.
and
I
put,
let it
put in
fly.
a laugh track for yourself.
You're gonna hit a wall. You're gonna hit a wall many times today, and you're gonna be so angry at both of us. We'll see. I'm gonna put in a car crash every time you hit the fucking wall.
Oh, geez.
All right, Kamar, you want to rate the week then?
Yeah, I was just thinking that while you guys were talking about whatever you're talking about.
Look at this guy. He
Well,
comes
you
in
wouldn't
dressed-
know what we were talking about because you don't listen to anybody.
I was formulating my rating for the weekend. I'm going to give it 2.5.
This guy comes in here dressed like a Vato, and now he thinks he runs the place. This is my place, Holmes. Look at him.
I got jumped in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This table is mine.
Oh my god.
You gave it a what? A 2.5?
Blood in, blood out.
That's what I did.
A 2.5.
I'll give it a 3.
I will give it 2.5 as well. Kumar.
It's heavily weighted on one episode, but go on.
I did not care for this week.
That's fine. You're allowed to.
There we go.
You didn't like Tyson Fury's dad?
Side agreement.
Tyson Fury's dad.
You didn't think John McPhee looked like Tyson Fury's dad?
I didn't watch it. I don't know.
100% he looked like Tyson Fury's dad.
I'm a pure audio.
He was a pure psycho. But
Audiophile.
we'll get to that
He
later.
was a pure psycho. Yep.
2238, John McPhee.
Pedophiles have ruined all files for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're an audiophile,
Yeah,
it
having file on the end is a bit
sounds
dicey.
creepy.
Yeah, you don't want to be
Yeah.
a file.
You
of
don't want to
any
be a
sorts.
file.
Yeah.
They should just like do away with the file altogether and figure out something new, something that's not tainted by child love.
I maybe I'm missing something.
So you are a pedophile. You do love children.
What was that from?
This is America, the
yeah.
Sacha Baron Cohen thing.
So
Yeah.
fucking funny. Oh yeah, we're the same. You
Yeah, me and you. We're both pedophiles. No,
whoa, hold on a sec.
Stop saying that. I am not a pedophile. No, but you told me you love children.
You don't love
Yeah.
children?
Mike Benz.
File being from the Greek to love. Sorry, go ahead.
Mike Benz is a corporate lawyer who ran the cyber division of something or other.
Oh, thanks for
You
that.
guys got pedophile into that?
No, Simon he had just mentioned file that he was an audio guy and he wanted to say audio file.
Well, I did say audiophile.
There you go, which
and then I
immediately brought
thought,
him to I don't want to be an audiophile
I don't
because of
wanna be any
pedophiles.
files.
It's like the Hitler mustache.
Yeah,
Other
file
than
for
Michael
sure.
Jordan, no one has ever successfully pulled it off since.
Nail file still gets by.
That's a different file. That's FILE, and we're PHILE. That's where things get creepy. The PH.
Yeah, you don't want
You want a
yeah.
low
Yeah.
pH.
Yeah. We have an agreement.
We can't have an agreement because Kamara is not in this conversation.
He's not fun. He doesn't enjoy having fun.
Am I losing my mind? This has nothing to do with Mike Benz. You just thought all of a sudden file. I don't want to. Or is Mike Benz an audiophile?
This show is labeled comedy, so anytime there's a chance to throw something funny in, and again, he's going to hit the wall a couple times. But I'm trying. We're all trying to lift each other up here, except you. You're in your
There
own
was
world.
No wall hitting. There was no wall hitting.
No, not on that one. I'm saying it's going to happen. But the point is, sometimes we're going to go off topic. He said audiophile. That brought him to pedophile. We're now talking 2 seconds about how you can't be a file of anything because pedophile ruined it. It's almost a bit
But
for you, and you're like,
swear
no.
in your heart of hearts, this has nothing to do with Mike Benz.
Oh my God.
I hate you. Yes, I do. It didn't. I said to Matt, he said, didn't you look at the guy? He looks like Tyson Fury's father. I said, no, I didn't see him because I listened to the podcast. I'm an audiophile. And then as soon as I said it, I felt gross. And then you were like,
no, the problem is this.
Mike Benz. And I was
I know,
trying to get something
I
out.
was panicking through
So
my notes.
what happened was he said audiophile, and then he got lost in that for 4.5, not even 4 seconds. He got lost in audiophile, and then you said the words Mike Benz and then the number, which to you meant we've moved on from audiophile, we're on to Mike Benz. He then said pedophile, and that's where you got lost.
Because if I just let you push through, like I'll never get the thought out.
That's fair.
Like, I mean, your first note is just corporate lawyer cyber division, so it's not like we derailed. It's not like we
Did you
derailed.
hear his first note? He said, Mike Benz, he's some kind of lawyer for some kind of cyber division. He comes with the note with no substance to it.
Quote unquote.
From who?
Ergo vis-a-vis. Okay, go on. Mike Benz. We're done with pedophiles.
Yeah.
We are. I don't know about him.
Well, look at him. He looks like he hunts them.
So this
That are vampires.
this happened more around the time of our friend Mark Anderson.
You can add the car crash in after vampires, by the way, Matt.
Yeah, I got
On
you.
that.
Anderson, yeah.
And so this was all about internet censorship. And if you trust this guy,
Yeah.
The disinformation is more anything that does not go with the powers that be. Truth. Does that make sense?
No, what you said.
No,
you
none of
just
the words.
said a bunch of
I
words.
mean, they made sense, but not in the context you were using them, like together in a sentence.
Bird, pudding, lake.
Well, this guy, first of all,
Let's start from the beginning. Mike Benz.
thinks.
What does he do?
I don't know what he does. He talked a lot about dismay and the layers of grief that he's gone through.
Was he the army guy?
No, this guy is the internet
intelligence?
censorship
the
guy.
CIA. I mean,
Okay. Well, why don't you skip to your third note?
He's already down to like his fifth note. What are you talking
America
about?
has meddled. Like, say, for example, when the Russiagate,
Yeah.
and people came out and told you a laptop was Russian disinformation, two religious groups showed up on the same corner the same day, Russian disinformation. But the American government does that in every other country.
They do it in their own country. Yeah.
They do it in their own country because under the guise of the CIA needs to get in front of it before it becomes a problem.
You know what I learned from this guy is that when you hear Americans say we need to bring democracy to this country, all they're saying is we need to implement our guy. We need you to believe in our guy. We need you to vote for our guy continuously that's in your country. That's the only democracy they care about. It's not like they don't really care if the Democratic Republic of Congo votes.
And when they say that, we're here to implement democracy, what they really mean is we want your oil
Yeah.
or whatever. We want your poppy fields or insert what we want here
Yeah.
under the guise that we're going in to make your place better. And I guess you could say that, like, look, when they went into Iraq, maybe they do make it better for like the first 2.5 weeks. And then they slowly start withdrawing troops.
Yeah, but
And
but
by the time, 5 years rolls around, it's not better. It's been taken over by some.
But hear me out. When you say to make it better, there's always in a country. A country's always divided, right? So, like, let's say, just as an example, let's say China invades Canada, and they're like, "We're killing all the Trudeau supporters." 50% of Canada is going to be like, "It's kind of cool." You know what I mean? Like, so there's always going to be half the country that's like, "Hey, I'm actually kind of cool with your ethnic cleansing because
Yeah,
you're getting rid of my opponents."
The problem, though, is that, like, let's just, Stalin in Russia. Like, yeah, he had supporters, but that's because they didn't understand what freedom was like. And as soon as they understood that, they wouldn't have been supporters of his anymore.
It's like Kamar. Kamar wants to live in communist China right now.
No, but I was saying, what if you actually are living in communist China?
We are.
Or you're so close to it, you don't even realize it. You think you're way freer and you're moving and stuff, but you're like, one of the things is they talk about it with More Plates, More Dates, just it happened that way. The assassination, how they just show they have all those cameras. Who knows how far the facial recognition is.
What makes a person free? You know what I'm saying? Like, what makes you
They can sue
any
if
different
someone
than that person in
infringes
China?
on your rights. You can complain to someone about it. That might be.
Because that person in China probably feels, well, I don't know this, but I would assume that they feel really free because they don't know, like, what is it that they can't do? Can they leave whenever they want?
I would put it this
Can they
way.
go on vacation? Like, are they in prison? Don't we have a lot of Chinese tourists here? Like, I don't get it.
No, Chinese people can. Yeah. Like when I was in Thailand, there was a ton of Chinese tourists. Sorry, Kumar.
No, you're not cutting me off at all. But I just, from what this guy's telling us, and I would say, you could say, well, that's America. Canada's different. I bet you Canada's worse.
Yep, I would
For
agree.
online censorship or whatever, or what they want us to think. But the apparatus over there is so much more controlled. There's a lot more people on the right page as far as the government's concerned as we go. Like the idea that the elections don't even matter as long as they have the people in.
That's where we're at. Yeah.
That's where we're at, and that's the same thing there, but it looks different. Like the way they said anything democracy isn't. Democracy is doing things the way we need them done.
I mean, is it even really democracy if they only present you with, if only two people can really run? And it's pre-decided by the parties. Like if you can't make, like you, Joe Schmo,
You don't get to vote on the
No,
guy.
that's what I'm saying.
No,
You-
it's not democracy. And I guess that's what I'm always saying is like, you're saying we're no different from them.
China, yeah.
No, the Americans.
Okay, yeah. He's saying it might be
Or you're
worse.
saying we are
The
different.
surveillance apparatus,
Well, I just like they're under constant surveillance. What are you talking about?
But hold on,
Like,
we all are. Like I gave you guys that example. Those Indian dudes that heisted the gold in Toronto, that they got caught like 6
Yeah,
months
yeah.
later. They caught them using like highway cameras, ring cameras.
yeah.
Well, no, my point is just like even in
in China, it's all the government. It's the same, I think.
my point is just this, Simon. Let's say like you could sit there and be like, well, Ring is a privately owned company or a publicly traded company, and whatever. They're not gonna all that shit can be hacked. Someone can be looking at that at all.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So we live-
I totally agree.
Yeah,
We're in
we-
agreement.
Yeah, we live in that surveillance state. that-
Nobody is free. We're not free.
No.
The Americans aren't free.
No.
You can rail about how you have freedom of speech. No, you don't.
but we definitely don't.
Well, we don't either. I'm not claiming that we do. I'm just saying, like, so fine, you can say whatever you want, but the government still controls everything you do. I guess it'll get better now.
I mean,
I don't see why that would happen.
It's that
Well,
old.
Trump's in. What are you talking about?
well, this is the Great White Hope. I mean, this guy said
Like people keep talking about reset, you know, like or what's the term they use? He
The
keeps
Great
using
Reset.
it. No. Joe keeps using it. He said it for Elon buying Twitter.
Oh, it's a different timeline.
No, it was a something point, like a
Flashpoint?
moment.
Flashpoint.
Whatever. Anyways, you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Like these special moments that where you veer off. Oh yeah, maybe it is. You veer off on a different timeline. That's what you're right, Matt. That's what it was.
It's fine.
So I mean maybe. And maybe if Trump doesn't win here, you end up with that totally different timeline.
To put on my tinfoil hat, one of the big things that they work on when meddling with misinformation abroad is fighting socialism.
Yeah.
But if everyone says socialism doesn't work, would you not let it run?
I've
its
said this
course?
so many times.
Yeah, okay, exactly.
But they say communism didn't work.
No, but he's
too.
talking about the same thing. The point is like the Americans were so convinced it wasn't going to work. And if they were, they didn't need to spend any
All these
American
resources,
taxpayer
the
dollars
resources,
to
the
fight
resources,
it. You
yeah.
could have just said, listen, it's not going to work. You can come over here if you want, where we have a better system and you can make a better life for your family, but you're going to die of starvation over there. But instead, they were like, we have to fight communism at every
they
turn.
I mean, what they were worried about in air quotes was that these communist governments were going to push across and take over more and more land until they came over here and we were all communists. That was really the fear.
I think they knew that was impossible.
I'm
Well,
telling you that's why they spend so much money against
but again,
them
but
in the
nobody-
in the
it's
Cold
not
War.
true.
But hear me out.
No,
What-
it's not true.
no,
of
no,
course,
no,
it's
no,
not
No.
true.
But again, what Kamar's saying, it still stands. Like if the whole time they were like, communism doesn't work. Communism doesn't work. There's no way it can. Hear me out. There's no way it can spread to all borders if it doesn't work.
Right? Yeah. No. I mean,
Like no one's going to adopt a thing where they're like, wait a minute, all your people are dying of starvation. Why would we?
well, I don't think it's about adopting. It's they were flouting it, touting it as, you're going to do what whoever Stalin says, and if you don't, you're dead. And that when they take over the next country, that's going to be the same thing. It wasn't like these democratic elections.
I understand.
And again, I don't know, like Stalin seems like he was a pretty bad guy, but like, I don't know. I have no idea what communism was like in these places. Maybe communism was utopia and that's why they didn't want it because it's too good and you'll have, there's no money to be made. I don't know.
Well, the communist. What's the Communist Manifesto was based on the book Utopia by Sir Charles Moore.
I've never read that book.
You should.
I don't know.
The thing is, if it's their intention to do this because this is holding it together is one thing, but the other thing is that the United States is just a Ponzi scheme, and it's the only way to keep it going. That's really messed up. And to think that he pulled up the example that Gorbachev was doing pizza commercials. Our relationship was such with Russia.
Let's just go back to the moon or the space station or Antarctica. Like, we're at war with you, and yet we're just cool in outer space. Fuck that. Like, if they were really at war with each other, wouldn't there be like a death match on the space station?
I mean, again, you're forgetting too that every war that's fought is like, holy fuck, that's loud. Every war that's fought is like someone buying arms from someone. Mm-hmm. And it's usually the States. Like, you know what I mean? There's a few major dealers of arms, and they're always selling them to the people that they end up fighting. And it's whenever there's money to be made, war kind of.
Well, and I think we're all in agreement that like the military industrial complex fuels the United States. Like, it's where all the money is spent. That's how, right?
I mean, it seems like a lot of money spent there. Like,
wasted.
Think about, listen, we find out from the next guy that money definitely gets wasted. Like, think about it. He at one point is like, I had to get a chopper to come get me so that I could go get Pop-Tarts and rations for the guys. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, the amount of U.S. taxpayer dollars for that chopper to take off, fly to him, pick him up, fly him to get Pop-Tarts, to fly. And I'm not saying American soldiers don't deserve some comforts, but like, if you found out that like 100,000 U.S. taxpayer dollars was spent so this guy could go get Pop-Tarts, you'd be like, whoa.
Dude, I'll go back to my favorite political reality show, Veep.
Yeah.
There's an episode where she like ditches some group because they're wasting money building some ship part that they don't need anymore.
Yeah.
So she thinks she's doing this great thing. Oh, I've saved us, whatever, $12 billion a year. But like that, the people who build that ship part are in whatever state they're in, which has all these seats. Like, it just goes to show that there's so much. They don't use the boat anymore is the point. They're still building boats that they don't use.
Yeah,
but
so that they can keep those people employed
that
because the 6 seats in that place are like, I'm not going to lose the vote.
Vote for whoever they. Yeah, exactly. They have those
constituents.
Those states that have like 6 voting seats, but they're these tiny little states. Why is that?
It's population.
Oh, so they're not tiny little states. It's
are.
all done by population?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, no. What do you mean?
understand?
No, I don't understand. How does that work?
Again, it's done by population. Like Montana, for example, is a massive state. It is one of the least populated states in the U.S. So they only have however many electoral seats.
So they have
California is super populated, so they have way more electoral seats. I believe. Keep in mind, I didn't do grade 9 civics in the U.S. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that's how electoral seats work. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, again, New York would probably have a lot more electoral seats than, say, like Louisiana. But who knows? Louisiana might be more populated than I think. Florida, again, very populated, probably has a lot of electoral votes.
Do you remember a movie where they tried to wipe off Gorbachev's birthmark?
Yeah, I think it was in like a Naked Gun or
It was a
something.
Naked Gun, that's it.
Well, am I right? I don't remember. You looked up nothing there, right? You pulled up your phone, you went to Google something, and then you just totally gave up.
It gave me Canadian electoral seats. I can't be bothered.
There's no fucking way you're this useless. I'll do it.
All the
No,
exits.
I'm definitely.
All the exits were started by the CIA and this intelligence apparatus.
The exits? Oh, like Brexit. How many exits have there been?
Well, there was the Arab Spring, sort of somewhat failed, somewhat successful.
Well, what was that called? It was called the Arab Spring.
The Arab Spring, but
it wasn't an exit.
These are all destabilizations.
Oh, I see.
And what makes it the most interesting is, as this is happening, did you hear that Syria just got toppled?
Yeah.
Syria got toppled.
So Syria's the country that had a war, and then Russia and everyone helped them, and Iran helped them. Assad, the dictator, who was pushing sort of, you said it before, a Hitler mustache. Not quite. The whole country's got overthrown, and he's in Russia. Assad.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you see some campaigns take years in fighting, but
Who were they taken over by?
rebel forces. Is that so interesting? Because clearly it's more than rebel forces, but whatever the news is telling you is rebel forces that were former Al Qaeda. And people are rejoicing, and it's a good thing.
So is it an Israel thing, do you think?
They were a ally of Iran, and now they are not. Or whatever's going to happen there, but yes, this would be beneficial to Israel.
So Simon, just to give you an example, I can't find it doesn't say, but like California has 54 electoral votes, Texas has 40, Montana has 4. So I really do think it's all about the population. It does say something here about it has something to do with what is it?
I thought there were some, like I said though, some small states that just had like a ton.
Well, no,
of
there's
votes.
no. Those are swing states, I believe, where like they usually could be red or blue, and those are the ones that matter. Mm-hmm. But it does say here the number of electoral votes exercised by each state is equal to that state's congressional delegation, which is the number of senators, 2, plus the number of representatives for that state. Each state appoints electorals using legal procedure determined by its legislature.
You lost me.
Oh, I know. Trust me. I lost myself there. Go ahead, Kumar.
Did I mention that this guy sort of validated right when the Ukraine thing popped off that I was 100% correct of what it was? A big cash grab. And
You were
actually
100%
NATO
correct.
attacking,
Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Hold on, wait. We know that you just took some like Jimmy Dore talking point and repeated it here. So were you right?
But you guys were like, I don't think that's what it is. You guys,
Were we?
I believe so.
I think you just feel that way
I
now
don't
since
think I
COVID.
was like a big Ukraine supporter.
No, but
I think
said,
right from the start I said it was full of Nazis.
No, but you
No,
thought.
no, but
Okay,
nothing.
We'll have to go to tape. You'll just,
Oh, we're never going to go to the tape. We
you
all
guys
know
can't
that.
accept truth.
This is
Now.
this is
Say
nuts.
something to him. Say something to him. Say something to him.
You're
I
a
can't.
dork.
Say something to him. That's a terrible. Really?
Oh, I don't
You're
know.
a dork?
I don't know what
That's
you
the
wanted
best
me
you
to
could
say.
come up with?
What were you looking for?
Asshole.
Does NATO make sense?
Well, on paper, if you're hold on. Yes.
Yes.
Why?
What do you mean why? Because you want to make sure that there aren't tiny little countries out there who are just getting their asses whooped by giant countries who they can't defend themselves against.
And which we're watching right now happen.
Yeah, they're not part
but
of
they're
NATO.
not part of NATO. But I mean,
But if they were part of NATO, Kamar, Russia would never be able to do that, right?
NATO is this military-industrial complex. So
Now it is.
It
yes.
is its intention and everything you said is true. But if you're not part of it, it just looks like a big fucking
Yeah, that's not what you asked.
controlling.
That's not what you asked us, though. You said, "Is NATO a good idea?" And the idea of NATO is a good idea. Is this NATO corrupt as anything? Yes. Like,
Is breaking up NATO a bad idea?
I
well,
told
you
you.
have to have. What's going to happen to replace NATO? Just the U.S. is going to become the.
Finland, Sweden, and Norway or whatever could become their thing. Germany and France could have their deal or whatever.
Yeah, but what's going to happen to like some of these smaller countries?
What happens already? Just like this situation with Syria is so interesting. Like it just happened. Obviously, Russia's and Iran and Lebanon, who are friends with them, can't help right now, and so it was just a
lot
perfect
going
time
on, yeah.
for this rebel forces to take over. Obviously, they got money from somebody.
At some point in history, it was cool to like go out and take over other countries.
And have someone mind their own business and let it happen.
Relax for a sec. Just for a sec. It was cool that you could just go and say, I want what you have. I'm bigger than you. I'm going to take it. Okay.
Yep.
Somewhere along the lines, all of these countries that considered themselves just, okay, said that's probably not a good way to have the world get delineated, if that's the right word.
Go ahead.
And they got together and that's like, had they not done that, who knows what the world looks like right now.
Is your issue that NATO is mostly white Christian countries? Is
Well,
that
no,
your
like
issue?
the pressure to keep pouring all this money to keep stacking it to us seems like we're just taking care of ourselves, but to everyone else on the planet, maybe the majority of people say, what are these guys? Why are these guys getting so ready? What fight are they getting ready for?
Well, I mean, I think people. There's still people alive.
I can't believe anything we think about the last 4 years. We knew what we were talking about.
Kamar, I agree with you on all that, but I think there are still people alive that remember World War II. Not a lot of them. And I think that's why we're still concerned about it.
But what did this guy say? The issue is, it wasn't him, but with those world wars, there was never a point where the war could turn and the whole planet could be changed forever, like with nuclear consequences. There was mass
Didn't they
death,
drop 2
but
nukes?
I think that was the end of the World War II. But those wars starting, people getting involved, there was not that consequence till there was that consequence.
Okay, fair enough.
Now these situations are happening. We're pretty sure from what this guy says, everything's a fucking lie. It's the one way I think that you can make this funny is if it turns out there's 2 people in the CIA fighting a war. And
Yeah.
they're both working each
They
side.
each check in every
they don't
day,
even
right
know
beside,
that-
"Hey, Jim,
oh,
hey, Paul."
They're great friends,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
actually going, "I fucking hate this guy." It turns out it's so muddled that they're having this war going on. I mean,
Let's say Vladimir Putin said, let's just pretend his politics were, I don't know what his politics are, but let's pretend.
don't like gays.
Let's pretend they were, I hate black people.
Yeah.
And I want to eliminate every black person from the earth. Don't you think that it's probably good that there's like a group out there to make sure that something like that can't possibly happen?
done this
Because
all
that's
before.
the whole Hitler thing,
there
right?
is a group out there, and they can't do it. It doesn't happen.
what are you talking about?
Rwanda,
Rwanda.
You're saying the
a
UN?
genocide happened, and no one could help it. I mean, I guess they're not part of NATO, so that's against them. But
But doesn't that strengthen his point though? Like if you were part of a larger conglomerate of protection group,
That couldn't happen.
But it's proven that conglomerate is ineffective at achieving that thing.
How
Is
so,
it?
though?
Because they've created
But hold on, wait,
stability.
wait.
They've killed more than they've saved.
well, you can't. We don't live in the. In this petri dish where there is NATO, you can make that argument. In this petri dish where there is no NATO, you could argue that maybe a NATO country gets invaded or 5 NATO countries get invaded and more
The only
people
reason they're
die.
not getting invaded right now is because of NATO. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's 2
But
ways to look at that.
That's what we are told. That's the
Come on, I agree with you. And you're listen, hey, look at
party
me.
line from people who have deceived us
Hey,
our whole lives.
look at me. You're probably right. My point is just still just. You asked the original question you asked was, is NATO a good idea?
I don't know if NATO is a good
The
idea.
idea is a good idea.
I don't know if NATO is a good idea, but having a group that is for good in the world is a good idea.
Like, Kamar, if you and I decide we're going to go outside and shoot the fair one, you're probably still best having 3 friends with you to make sure that you don't get jumped by my 3 friends or that I don't stomp you while you're down. You know what I mean?
Of course, I understand.
Yeah. I'm not saying you
there's
don't-
more power
Yeah.
together, but this guy outlined that the war in Ukraine is America not wanting Europe to get Russian gas.
I agree. Yeah.
Not Nazis.
Yeah.
Not
I
taking
agree.
over Ukraine.
We're all in agreement. We are all in agreement that
He just
the
wants us-
American
hold on.
war machine
He
is
wants-
corrupt.
he wants-
They run NATO, which makes NATO corrupt.
this
but the
is
idea
NATO.
Simon.
of a group like NATO needs to be there, or else you just have countries invading other countries willy nilly.
He wants.
That's what they say.
He would like you to say that he said it first, that he knew it before both of us.
But hold on,
Just
Kamar.
say that to him.
History shows us that that's the way it was. I mean, if we can believe it, if we believe the history books that wars happened all the time because other countries just wanted the piece of land that they were sitting on.
But how do you get from Russia helping beat Germany, ally,
Yeah.
to now?
Because the Americans created a boogeyman. We're in agreement.
But NATO's a good idea.
A group like NATO would be a good
What if
idea
they
that
let
wasn't
Russia in?
corrupt.
What if they let Russia in?
Well,
God,
the story is
amazing.
that ends everything. That's
Well,
that's
no,
like the,
then they could start doing what they're supposed to do, right? And just go and help the countries like Rwanda.
But we know he said U.S. aid is just control. Like
It doesn't even mean aid.
these-
It actually stands.
yeah.
It's an acronym for something
Exactly,
completely different.
exactly.
It might as well be like Americans invading, destroying, and
the State
You know what I mean?
Department, he said, was formed in 1780. So imagine how the purview has grown to how it gets its fingers and meddling involved in everything.
That's crazy. So like 4 years into being a country, that thing's created. That's fucked.
They didn't know what gas was, like natural resources.
That's crazy.
Just remember that the people who made all the rules that everyone follows today, the Constitution, all of that stuff in the United States, their second one was the right to bear arms. That's the second one, right?
Yeah.
And that was there because they knew that one day their government would become tyrannical. Like,
Well, it's because most of them are British, and that's why they left. It's not
because
'cause
they had just come from.
Well, they had come from that system, so they were like, if this
Well,
doesn't,
sure,
if
so
you
they
guys
know.
don't arm yourself, there's a good chance that someone will. And again, it ended up happening regardless.
Did you hear that the Canadian government wants to ban more
Yeah,
firearms
yeah.
to send them
Trudeau's
to
a
Ukraine?
fucking-
No, I didn't hear that.
He wants us to send
Does that sound like a
hunting.
good
He wants us
idea?
to send our hunting rifles to the front lines of Ukraine.
So what
This
do they?
is Trudeau who wants
This
this.
is real news.
Swear to God,
What do they need it for?
No, that legit.
Well,
That's
I guess
gotta.
if you
That's
do-
gotta be fake
no,
news. That is so dumb. That is so.
no,
dumb.
that is NATO, Simon.
Why is that NATO?
Because we're NATO.
Let him look it up.
Let them cook.
Oh, I'm letting you cook. I'm telling him he better look it up.
So a new buzzword, democracy obviously doesn't mean what we thought it meant. Whole of society is something that you should perk your ears up. The first place we encounter being told it's a good idea for the intention is hate speech.
Yeah,
Because you can sort of feel now. I remember it started being, we got to fight hate speech. It was the thing, and then COVID, they sort of said was putting in practice controlling, and I think it worked pretty good.
did it though? I don't know. I mean, I agree at the time. Like looking back now, I could sit here and tell you.
The amount of people that went along with the school closures, with the social distance, with all the rules, with the getting vaccinated. I mean, it does seem like it was a fight back till quite a while.
Yeah, I think my question to you is though, like, do you think moving forward it would be the same? Do you think the same amount of people would fall into line? How about that?
I'm not sure, but somebody's predicting a pandemic in
Of course they are, obviously.
January 21st. The day after Trump gets inaugurated or something.
That's it. That is true.
Yeah, that
guns
Trudeau
to
wants
the
to send your guns to the Ukraine. Yeah.
It is so crazy that both of those guys, Trudeau and
Polyev.
no, the Dick Dancer there in the
Oh,
Ukraine.
Zelensky.
Zelensky both come from Klaus
Dick
Schwab's
Dancer.
that school that Tulsi Gabbard comes from.
Yeah.
Like they're all cronies. It really seems like Trudeau knows he's going to be ousted in the next couple of months, and he's just like, I got to get all this shit. They need guns, well, we'll get them guns.
Well, no, it goes back to
All
the thing
my
that
weirdo
they-
stuff has to
they
be pushed
Yeah,
through
push
now.
through right away in the next couple of months. Sorry,
no,
Tamar,
sorry.
you're gonna see some wonky shit going on from Trudeau because he's gotta push it through.
But it's like this weird, is he trying to win or is he just conviction to try to do the right thing, thinking he's doing the right thing?
Trudeau? I don't think Trudeau has any conviction that he's doing
But
the right
again,
thing.
we don't believe any of these guys are thinking, fuck all these citizens. They're
No,
so stupid for
I think-
voting me in.
I think Trudeau probably had certain things he needed to do while he was in office that came from Klaus Schwab.
What I was trying to say before is they must be doing some sort of suppression because I haven't heard WF in a while.
WEF.
You hear that the
the
meetings
World
are going
Economic
on.
Forum.
It's coming on, and with a lot of turbulent times. He was involved sort of with the 50-minute cities, COVID or whatever. Now, even though there's a lot going on, it is involved. We don't even know about these wars.
His impressions are bang on.
What this guy described as we can see the bad guys, even though they're trying to do the right thing, is they're trying to stop Trump.
Who's trying to stop Trump?
Whoever is using words like whole of society.
You know what's weird is every video this guy played, it seemed like a clip from like a dystopian movie.
Well, the supercut does that, yeah. Did you listen to it faster than one?
Yeah, probably. I probably didn't
That
help either.
does it a lot too, because it's a play of a play.
No, but still, it's still just like even the low quality. Like, it's crazy that like the billionaires of the earth don't spend like crazy money pushing their propaganda. It's like some guy at a camera that we have with the lights we have who's like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's fucking weird. It's weird that it works. That's the craziest.
But like after listening to this, what did you guys were like? Nothing new here, and
I mean, it scares me because like you know what's fucked is like the internet. Corporate America forever spat at the internet. This is nothing. It's not going to work. It's not going to catch on. What are we going to do with this? We can't do anything with it. And now corporate America owns the internet. Like you were talking about China and how like Simon was like, what's the difference in being in China? Like nothing. They have their own internet that just doesn't push American propaganda and ads to you.
And it doesn't have TikTok. It's probably awesome.
doesn't let you see tits and death.
Well, I mean, tits we can, you know.
But but these are the sort of
Let's
things
not take it all away.
We go, that's my freedom. I get to go to the strip club, or I get to do this, or do that, all that thing.
I can watch porn anytime
Anytime I want.
Anytime I want.
On the bus
that
beside a
makes
child.
me free. No, but that's what I was saying before. It's all just this illusion of freedom.
Well, no, because some of that is for like, listen, I still agree in autonomy and like I wouldn't want to live in communist China. I still agree with that. I also agree with you that we live in a big brother state where they're always watching.
How do you know you don't want to live in China?
I've been to an airport there and it seemed like not a great place.
You could judge by the airport that it didn't seem like a great place.
There
Why?
wasn't a Sparrows. That's why.
Yeah, no, really.
Trash.
Like
Yes,
I'm
Kamar
being
gets it.
serious. I bet you China's just fine to live in. I bet you it's better than most places here.
I mean, I have a friend that grew up in China and he was happy to be back. So
That lady I met, remember, she told me it was great.
okay, listen again. You're welcome to go and live in China if
No,
you'd like.
I don't want to live in China. I mean, it might be the better option than Canada at this point.
Well,
but
I
who
would rather
knows?
live in the States. If money were not an issue and I could get a green card, I'd move to Florida tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd probably move down to the States too.
100%. And I'd buy.
If they did have gun laws.
I used to think Canada was so great.
Wait,
Like,
what are you talking about? Gun laws?
Sorry, I didn't hear the.
I said I'd move to Florida. I'd buy a shitload of guns.
If the dollar wasn't so low, if you could.
No, if I just money wasn't an issue. Like, remember how
money,
last we were talking about $50 million?
you can't-
Immediately,
you can't do that.
immediately, I moved to the States. Immediately, I go to the Mayo Clinic. I get everything checked out. They tell me how disgusting I am. I try to fix everything with Joe's stem cells.
America.
Yeah, dude.
Do you think Americans are more free than Canadians?
Of course, 100%.
do I think Americans are more free than
The answer is yes, 100%. You do.
only because of
No.
the
Not only. There's a lot of reasons, but yeah,
well, no. I mean, the only one I can think of would be the free speech one.
it's a pretty big one.
Well, but again, like you pretty much have free
We have oppressive
speech.
internet laws here,
What is
too.
it that you're trying to say that you can't say?
Well, Kamar's a comedian and Mike Ward's a comedian. Kamar could go up and
Yeah.
tell a joke tomorrow and all of a sudden have a $200,000 lawsuit on his hands. I think that's a
I'm
big
pretty
fucking
sure
problem.
there are edgy Canadian comedians. Like
There are,
and
but
they
my-
get up there and they say all sorts of ridiculous
Well,
shit, and nobody's stopping them. You
Part
know?
of my theory is the industry
until
here
they
is
do.
until they do.
the industry here is so small it just doesn't move the radar, except in a special situation. I mean, that was a celebrity that he made fun of in the Mike Ward situation, and the only other situation we know about is I think of that out west.
Yeah, that other one. That's
I
what I'm
think
saying. We know of two. My
drinks
point
and
is simply if Kamar was
crime.
if Kamar was a comedian in the States, he doesn't have to worry about that ever. It doesn't have to be a thing on his mind ever. Also, they took away our guns. Can't have guns here.
I mean,
At least not the good ones.
you don't go to jail for that. Do you know what I mean? You would receive a fine. That's what. What's
Yeah, but
his
if you
name
don't
got a
if you
fine,
don't pay
right?
the 200,000, what happens?
But are we becoming?
what
you go to jail.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Mike Ward, just humor me for a second here.
Let's humor away.
Mike Ward
Yep.
gets in trouble for making that joke.
Mm-hmm.
They fine him. We're going to make up a number,
think it was 200
$200,000.
Yeah.
Mike Ward doesn't have the $200,000. He has a steady job because he's a working comedian, but he doesn't have the $200,000. They're immediately going to put him in prison, you think? Or are they just
Well, they
going to
probably garnish your
his wages?
Yeah, but again, how long is it going to take for that person to recoup their 200 grand? Also, he has to live. Like, I don't know. I don't know. My point is, why are you even okay with this at all?
penalty-
I'm not. I'm
the
not.
penalty should matter. The
I'm
penalty
not
should matter.
okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm just. What you said wasn't exactly right. You know.
I don't care. Listen, I don't want. Listen, we
And
live in
people
a
get
country.
canceled all the time in the States for the things they say.
Canceled is different.
I mean, canceled is different, but like
It's
if
not the
it's
government
if
saying-
it's just a money thing, Matt. Yeah, you're right. There's no bill involved. They're
Yeah.
not demanding
Yeah,
the money from
there's no
you, but you're gonna
human
lose
rights.
your money.
There's no human rights tribunal. That's another thing. Like,
Yeah. No, listen, I said it. I think that's probably a problem.
I'd also like some guns.
You would like some guns.
Yes, yeah.
But you okay.
Nope, I'd like a
Do you
handgun.
think,
and
hey,
I'd like
maybe some cognitive dissonance that we all believe, like, oh yeah, society's better if no one had guns, everything would be great. I mean, when you're young, of course, that makes so much sense. They're dangerous, they're loud.
I mean, if I truly believe that we need to fight against our own governments, then yes, I guess you need a gun. Otherwise, like, I mean, Australia seems to fucking function pretty good and they don't have any guns.
Okay, but they
I wonder
also
if it's
got.
harder for them to get guns because we have a huge gun problem here.
We do.
We do.
But
Despite-
do you think that's
despite-
because we're next to the biggest gun carrying nation in the world?
perfect? And so that's why
That's not. They're
Australia
not the
and here would
biggest.
be
Gun.
different.
I mean, they have the most guns, but the highest gun ownership per capita is not the U.S. That belongs to Switzerland. They have a
Okay, but
90.
that's not what I just said. They have a lot of guns.
Okay, but fine. But how about this? I just told you that Switzerland, 97% of the residents own a firearm.
Yeah.
The surrounding.
Like a rifle?
Okay, but it doesn't
No,
matter.
I'm just asking, or do they all own like Glocks?
It doesn't matter.
No, but why do they own guns? Is it for hunting or is it for
there's a place where you have to have a gun because
for protection?
Well, I haven't looked into it that deeply. What I know is that they have like a day where they take like, it's a national holiday where everyone takes the day off and they all go shooting. It's like a big deal. They have a very low percentage of gun deaths, gun violence, all that shit, as well as the surrounding countries. And I don't think a lot of,
I guess
I get what you're saying.
I guess my point is, Maddie, is that
Yeah, you can sneak a bunch of Glocks over the Detroit border.
We
I
all
understand.
agree that it's probably a good idea to have like a rifle to be able to protect yourself if you need it, or to be able to hunt if you need to, because maybe it comes a time where we don't have the luxuries of the things we do today. Why do we need handguns? Why do we need military gun? Why do we need none of that should exist?
disagree.
If the only reason to protect yourself or
It's not the government. It's the other people too. Why can't you protect your family?
Well, you can. You're going to protect your
With
family
a rifle? No, I'd rather do
But-
it with a handgun. What are you fucking nuts?
But again,
I
it's
mean,
the weird thing that someone with a gun is telling you can't have a gun.
yeah, there's that too.
What makes them better?
Yeah, the people in charge take your money from taxes to buy big guns.
Hold on. By being a citizen of whatever place you are, you're kind of agreeing that there's going to be a governing body. That governing body is going to make decisions. Like,
Simon.
if you don't like that, you should either go live in the woods or we should have anarchy. Like, what are you
Well, no, we
suggesting
don't.
here?
Simon, I'm also fine with everyone like a car. You have to be a licensed. You have to go and take a test and be.
Yeah,
a
I know, but we see that doesn't work, right? Like,
How?
as soon as you,
Where do we see that doesn't work?
where do we see that doesn't work? In the States.
You don't
There's-
have to get a license.
Of course you have to get a license.
You don't. Half the states, you just go buy a fucking gun. You don't need to register it. You need to.
Okay.
But that's illegal.
No, that's legal.
Well, anyways, all handguns here are illegal.
Yeah, I just don't think I have a problem with them. Rifles, I have a problem with. Handguns, I don't think I have a problem with.
I understand.
And if you want it to be a handgun, maybe it should be like a 6
You want a revolver?
cartridge minimum or a maximum. Well, because why do you need 12?
What's the difference between 6 and 12?
I don't
What's
know.
your fucking deal?
I don't know. Or maybe you should have to like load them like old timey or something. There's some.
This is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Well, no, look, I'm
What
all
if
for
Mel
protecting
Gibson
yourself.
and a SEAL team go to attack you, and you got to defend your family?
Yeah, good.
Finally,
So
pushes come to shove.
Again, so you're worried. You're worried about the government. Then you're worried about the military. You want to have an arsenal to be able to match the military.
No, I'm worried about the shared consciousness of one place. Well, it's not all of America, but things we should be allowed to have any gun we want, and another place right next to us said people shouldn't have guns.
Simon, let me explain something to you.
I
First
didn't
off,
say we shouldn't have guns.
this is very important.
Do not.
We, at this point, you could never be armed enough to take on the Canadian or the U.S. government, especially the U.S. government. And they've proven that, whether it's Ruby Ridge. I mean, Ruby Ridge is less of an example. David Koresh, Waco, all that shit has proved, like, dude, those guys were armed to the fucking tits. And the DEA just came in, the ATF, and they were like, we'll just burn them out. We'll shoot all of them. We don't give a fuck. You're not going to beat the U.S. government, okay? Unless half of the country takes up arms and decides we're doing this together, which, again, they would just shut down the internet. The powers that be would shut down everything, the power of the internet. They wouldn't let the people take arms, I don't believe. So, again, yeah, I just want a handgun and a high-powered rifle to protect what is mine. And I think everyone should have that right. And I think Americans
I
have that
agree.
right.
You should have a rifle.
No, I said a high-powered rifle.
I know, but you don't need.
And you'd agree
handgun.
that
Why do you need a
some sort
handgun?
of body could know you have it? Or is
Well,
that
again-
too much oversight?
No, listen, I already said to you that you can't fight. You can't fight the government. So as far as that oversight, fine, let them go. I'll register. I don't give a shit. Let me have it though.
That works, right, Simon?
Well, yeah, we're all in agreement. Like the government controls shit.
Yeah, we don't like it, but it's happened. Yeah.
That's
But again, that's what you were asking: is in which ways are the states more free? And again, in the states where it's concealed carry and you don't need a license to buy a firearm, you can just go and buy one to protect your family. Again, I would say that's more freedom than we have. That's all. You asked the question, and
You
I'm giving
abide
my
by their
answer.
rules, and they provide a society with an economy, affordable rents, cheap food.
I mean, the beauty about the states,
Entertainment.
Simon, that is really the beauty of the states too, is that if you're born in Kentucky and it's concealed carry and you don't need a license to buy a handgun, and you're like, I don't like handguns, I don't like this, you can take your family to California where it's like a super strict gun laws and they actually have the most guns.
It's more of a cheesecake factory of options than
Sure.
where it is shit diner. So he thinks that we're at a point where the empire, all this stuff has to pivot. Like he doesn't want all these things to be disbanded and destroyed. He thinks that there is value in it. So, like you said, Trump's been elected president. He's got the majority if he is who I've always said he was.
well, we always said that draining the swamp was a good idea.
Yeah. If done,
Because, and that's my point, is like the government structure, the structure of these ideas are good. It's just they've been manipulated by this like evil complex that has taken them in a totally different direction. But if they can clean it up, I don't know.
Because it obviously, Gorbachev was friends with us, and then Boris Yeltsin was just a complete drunk. I don't know if you guys remember.
yep.
And then I guess comes Putin. So everything was going well.
Well, he was KGB while they were.
But the America had a lot more ability to influence and manipulate Russia. As he said, they were happy with how it was going.
And if we're not going to believe the American, like, why are we believing what they're telling us about Yeltsin and Gorbachev? That's probably not at all what those guys were like.
they're not telling us, he is telling us.
Who is this guy?
Mike Pence. The most recent thing I've heard from Putin is he says America is $10 trillion in debt,
Yeah, that's true.
and they've got to keep control of the world.
Because they can never pay their debt.
I mean, we've talked about that before.
That kind of sounds right.
I mean, I think they could pay their debt.
Could they?
Yeah. I don't think it's easy and it would take a long time, but let's say, just for the sake of this argument, they ship everyone home. Maybe you keep 4 bases. I don't know. Something. You keep a small contingent of people overseas, but literally you send everyone else home. You send every warship. You send everyone home for 20 years.
I think what's that thing called in the States where the money comes from?
The
The
Treasury,
Fed.
Federal Reserve.
Yeah, the Federal Reserve. I'm pretty sure they just pay down the interest. Like they're never paying down their debt.
Well, not right now because they spend so much. Again, if you stop spending money, you can then make money and you can start paying off more than just the principal. Or sorry, you can start paying off the principal and not just the interest, right? Like if you look at their budget militarily, that's why I've said bring everyone home is the only
Well,
option.
I mean, what's the debt? Because they spend like whatever it is, $3 trillion. I don't know what the amount is they spend a year. The American government
A lot.
a
on
ton
the,
of
on
money.
the military,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A ton of money.
because that's what they'll save, presumably, right?
That's my point. Yes,
Yeah,
they will
no,
save that amount of
I
money, and then you
understand.
start paying down the debt. My point was, it might take 20 years.
No. My
it's
point
not
is,
impossible.
what is the debt? Because it could take 100 years before you even start being able to pay down that debt.
I mean, not really. You said they owe $10 trillion.
I don't know what they owe. That's
what I said.
Okay, well,
I
let's-
don't
And that's what Putin said. So.
Let's
know.
assume
10
bullshit.
trillion, right?
Let's
yeah.
assume it's 10 trillion. If you're saving 3 trillion a year, you've paid off the money in fucking
Yeah, in no
5
time.
years.
In no
Like
time.
it really doesn't take that long.
I think it all comes back to whenever I start to get, we're going to go X Factor, because this guy didn't get into it as much, but he's sort of let on that he got into it because he was about AI censorship.
Yeah.
Not an AI controlling society and making big decisions, but how it was being used to help this censorship.
I can't chat with anyone on Call of Duty. Like
You don't trust it?
No, I've been banned so many times. You say fuck, you're banned. You like, dude, and you're banned for 2 weeks, and the second it's done, you say fuck again, and they're like, hey, guess what, pal? We caught you. This
That's
world
so gay.
sucks. Yeah, that's so gay. This sucks.
That
This
is
game
gay.
sucks. This is gay. Anything like that, you're immediate voice chat. I don't want to live in that world. That sucks.
Yeah, well, you do.
Yeah, I know.
Life
It's
sucks.
terrible. Yeah.
Then it doesn't.
But we also don't want to live in a world with the Ku Klux Klan. So
But we do live in. But hold on.
there's
Hold
got
on. Wait.
give and
We
take,
do live in a
We live in a world with the Ku Klux Klan.
Well, I mean, they don't really exist anymore. But
So you think we censored them away? Is that your point?
I think that, yeah, enough people started making it known that they don't agree with that.
But that's not
kind of thing.
censorship. That's that.
And then they disappeared.
So I could make an argument that not censoring is what did that, and that guys like Daryl Davis talking to people.
Or Geraldo Rivera.
Sure.
Remember those shows?
Yeah,
Used to always
yeah, of
have,
course, yeah.
White supremacists on.
I mean,
and
Jerry
stuff.
was the best.
Jerry.
If you saw white supremacists and a couple black people on the panel, you were like,
That was-
fucking
that was-
chairs
that was
are
probably
about
their
to get
peak.
fucking thrown.
That was probably their peak. Lastly, you brought up Burisma, which is very interesting. I was going to have this as a topic of the post show, but obviously you heard about the pardon, Simon.
Of course.
Biden pardoned his son.
Biden pardoned his
crazy.
son
It's crazy. But hold
all
on.
the way back to the day before Hunter got his job at Burisma.
Can I ask you a question, though? According to this guy, he's a CIA asset. Would they not have to pardon him quietly? Like, is Biden not a scapegoat in this case for the CIA? Just hear me out. This guy was saying that clearly Biden was Hunter Biden was some sort of American government asset in the Ukraine, correct? Yes,
He said Burisma was.
he worked for
Well, and
Burisma.
he was
Did he
the
not?
liaison
He was
for Burisma.
But on the
Between
same
him-
board,
but-
on the same board, there was also an ex-CIA guy.
Okay, just I'm Pepe Silving this. My point is he's very connected to the CIA and this company.
So no matter what, he was getting pardoned by by this president or the next president. But because Trump's going in, it leaves them no choice.
But he's
because
only
they
on-
know that Trump
he's-
is never going to.
No, but it's even better too because they're like, let's just get the senile old guy that everyone hates right now anyway to do it.
Sure.
It looks like
This is when Joe Biden was the vice president and he wasn't senile. His son shouldn't be on the board of a CIA gas company that's trying to destabilize.
Of course they shouldn't, but it's the military-industrial complex, and he was working for that.
I'm just curious though. Like, there's been a couple of ex-presidents that have been in the CIA. What's your issue? Is that he's the son of a vice president?
It was for them to get money payoff, which is a story.
The
all
American
time, as I
government
said.
should have been working with Burisma. That's
The American government should be working with.
should not have been working with Burisma.
Furthermore, the American government's vice president's son should have been on the board of Burisma.
Well, yeah, of,
But I
course,
mean,
of
but-
course
yeah,
not.
no,
it's
but
obviously
again-
more of a conflict of
Yeah,
interest.
but Mike Baker would argue, like, if Mike Baker were on talking about this and he, you know what I mean? He'd probably have a different spin. Like, well, you know, Joe, we need to have, the reason we're in the Ukraine, the reason Hunter Biden was over there was because, you know, we need to.
We need to be able to trust the people, and who do we trust more but our children?
But the situation
Because
was
if I had to,
Sluggo
I'd
over there.
said Sluggo over there, exactly.
Hunter Biden got convicted on tax and filling out a gun form wrong.
Okay.
There had been no charges, there had been accusations, obviously, allegedly about Burisma, but
Allegedly.
it was the gun charge, which Biden said, I won't pardon him, and whatever they say, I'm going to do. He turns around and says, yeah, I got to pardon for that, and we'll go all the way back to 2014.
I mean, we hate it for sure, but this can't possibly come as a surprise to you, right?
That he would pardon his son.
Yeah, like of course
cover-
you would. You're leaving. You're never going to be president again. Like you're going to pardon
And you
your
got to cover,
child.
and you got to cover all your tracks.
What does he care?
I be honest
What
with
does
you?
he care if people are like, but Biden pardoned his son? What a piece of like he's done. It's over.
No, but
Anyways,
what if
he's
he
going to be dead
What if
soon.
he pardoned him if they weren't tactically smart for those charges? You're not going to jail for the gun charges and the tax, whatever it was.
I actually believe that Trump would have pardoned him.
No, he wouldn't have.
I believe,
said
I
he- he said
truly
he was
believe he
considering-
would have.
Why do you think that?
Because game loves game.
No. Why do you think Trump would have pardoned him?
I have a feeling he would have bought a lot of goodwill. I just feel like he felt how oppressive. I don't know. I just feel like he would have
First
done
of
it.
all, if he really is part of, if he was a CIA agent, there's no way Trump would pardon him. He fucking hates those guys.
You never know.
I don't see it.
Kamar agreed with me, and he's a Trump guy.
The pardon for Hunter Biden, though, is covering all the tracks and getting away with it scot-free. You agree?
Sorry,
Which you're allowed to do.
Repeat that.
The Hunter Biden pardon
Okay.
is getting Hunter off for everything.
Yeah.
Everything. It's something you don't even know.
Okay.
You've heard of the Hunter Biden laptop.
Yeah.
Minors, whatever. All
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
And Joe himself gets off too.
Joe Biden gets off.
Because Hunter could have flipped on him if he got charged, which
All
he would.
the more reason why Biden would do that.
He'd be retarded not to.
He'd be retarded not to.
Good for Joe to do that.
No, I don't think it's good for him to do
So
that.
it's
It's
bad.
just
Yeah.
it's expected.
It's no surprise. It's no surprise.
And if
What
Trump
people
has
say-
something that he needs to do at the end, he'll pardon those people too.
what people are most upset about is that Biden was asked repeatedly, and he said, "Nope, there's no way I'm going to pardon him."
Like if Jared Kushner was indicted for some sort of tax fraud or
Well, no,
something,
Trump
Trump would pardon him.
Trump pardoned Jared Kushner's dad, and the Democrats were really
so
upset.
what are we talking about here?
It's still a point of contention.
His point is the Democrats got mad when they did it. The other side's getting mad now. Like, I don't know. What this is how
It's a
politics
crooked
works.
system.
Yeah.
We know this.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I mean, listen,
I'm confused.
Kamar's point is like the vice president's son shouldn't be pardoned for committing crimes.
100% not. 100%
And we
not.
agree, yeah.
The same way that they shouldn't have suppressed the laptop, the same way they shouldn't have made it. Like, all of that is true. Of course they shouldn't do that. But that's not the reality of the situation.
No, this is all after the fact. Yeah, we're not speculating anything.
They shouldn't have brought the Nazis in after World War II. There's a lot of things they shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, this guy's moments felt like I've referred it many times. Donald Sutherland and JFK, but I wonder, like, he should have said at some point, "If I kill myself, I did not do it." It
That
seem
didn't
like he
happen.
was-
That
was
didn't
in-
happen a lot back then.
No, but right now, going on Joe Rogan, I mean, it seemed like he disclosed more than any UFO person has come out or anything. Or the most disclosure we've heard about covert operations. I guess we've all heard all about this stuff in one way or the other.
Want to hear something interesting?
Can I just cut you off real quick?
Yeah.
Because I will forget this. What's the worst thing about this show, in my opinion, is that we'll have this guy on, and next week Mike Baker will be on.
Yeah, so what are we doing?
That's all I'm saying. Keep going. I'm sorry.
I've been thinking, I keep remembering
Yeah.
to watch JFK.
With Kevin Costner, the Oliver Stone.
Oliver
Yeah.
Stone, Oscar Stone, the Oliver Stone one, because I feel like I watched it and they told me what I should think, and I just thought that, you know, oh, it was a shitty movie because they did this and this and this. So I've been trying to go back and watch. It's not available anywhere.
Interesting.
Maybe on his website.
No.
You know
I
what,
mean,
though?
on none of the streaming services, and I find that interesting when none of the
There's
streaming
no Oliver
services.
Stone movies on the streaming services. Now that I think about it.
Zero.
Yeah.
What's another Oliver Stone movie? Natural Born
Doors.
Killers.
Natural Born Killers,
not on
not
the
on
streaming
there.
service.
What else?
The Doors, not
No.
on the
See what
streaming service.
he might be one of
he
he might be one of those guys who's like,
Well, I feel like because he tells the truth. Like, can you watch Stanley Kubrick movies on the streaming services? No, you can't. Can you?
I don't know. That's a good question. I wonder who owns them.
I think they suppress these people because they don't want the masses to be able to like be enlightened by the truth, which is what these movies used to be because they were being made by guys who were,
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically going
Yeah.
against the grain.
Theoretically.
Who knows? Who knows? It could all be like if the military industrial complex was really good at their job, they would have guys like that who we believe
Yeah.
making, you know, the other side,
Yeah.
and they'd be bought and sold as well. So even your like even your heroes are CIA agents.
What's funny? Like I had a at trivia this week. I had an Apollo question. Like which Apollo mission took Neil
I
Armstrong?
was at
yeah,
the
yeah,
trivia.
yeah.
I didn't remember.
And I jokingly at one of them was like, you know, I said allegedly.
Yeah, that was mine.
Oh, I did it at the other one as well.
Okay.
And at the other one, they were like, "What do you mean allegedly?"
They got angry.
Yeah. There were these young people that were like, and it's just funny because I was like, I used to like you believe heavily that was the case, and I was like, it's not how I feel anymore. And they were
No,
like-
I'm awake.
They were like, "You're an idiot," and I was like, "Okay," but it just made me think like we really do just things were told, or that again, that one's tough because we saw a video. So you grew up, you saw a video, and you were like, "There's video evidence it happened, so why would I believe it didn't?"
Mm-hmm.
Right
But now, when you kind of look at the video evidence a little more
Well, just now in general,
closely,
yeah. Now in general, when you look at everything, you know, you're like, it kind of stinks.
Joe Biden worse than Elon Musk?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say remains to be seen.
I don't
but-
know. I don't know anything about it. The way these guys talk about Elon Musk buying Twitter and that being like one of those timeline splits,
Yeah.
like fuck,
Remains to be
I don't
seen.
know, man. Maybe I have it all wrong. But he's an asshole. I'll say that much.
I'm sure he's been called much worse.
I'm
Kamar, I
sure
tell
he
you this
has.
every week. I hope that Elon Musk and Donald Trump save the world. I really hope they do. I'm hopeful. Just because I don't like them, just because I don't like them as people, doesn't mean I'm not like.
My suspicion is that Trump is probably in there putting in the right people in the right place, and Elon has sheep in wolf's clothing, wolf in sheep's clothing himself
He's a sheep
into
in wolf's clothing.
a prime position.
Well, again, remains to be seen. They only have 4 years to turn it all around, so we'll see.
Well, why before Twitter? Okay, just humor me on this one, okay? Before Twitter,
Yeah.
what made Elon a great guy? What was he doing that was so great that was helping
Making cars to save
the
the planet.
world? 100% not, right? Like we're in agreement there.
Well, first
that he
off-
was doing the opposite of that.
Well, they don't. We know from sales.
It was a good idea.
No, it was never a good idea.
Of course it was.
Why?
If you want to get rid of cars that use gas, you have electric cars. That's the idea.
Sorry, yes, the idea, just not the way he implemented it.
I don't
Because
think anyone can implement it because we know batteries have the blood minerals and all the other fossil fuels costs that make to do it. And if he knew that all the way, then it is insidious what he's doing, even though I know these batteries are going to be more trouble than they're worth. But that's what he's doing before. PayPal is good, right?
Well, that was a group of people, but yeah.
I just what he has done.
I mean, again, I had this conversation with you guys before where I was like, the idea of PayPal is actually not that like. We're dumb and we couldn't have implemented it, but sitting around in the 90s, if we were like old enough and half smart, it's not
Makes
that
too much sense.
it's not that crazy to be like, what if we moved money around via the internet? You know what I mean? Like that's not. I mean, again, building the system to do so and being the first to do it is there any way there's one more of those? I'd fucking crush one. Yeah, you can do it. I'll get you back. Come on, I'm good for it, man. Look at me.
I don't
Simon,
think I can.
come on, I'm itching, man. Come on.
Well, they have
Mary's coming with something. I'll give you something. She's got Cokes or something. It'll be great.
Won't help me.
Give me a fucking
like
Red
you-
Bull,
like
man.
you said, they have 4 years to pivot the empire to save humanity.
Yeah.
But in the same time, artificial intelligence is supposed to take over. So we'll see. I give it a 3.5.
Can I ask you
I'm
a quick
bored of
question?
this guy.
Okay, yeah, we are done. Can I ask you one question though? So, with Biden pardoning his son, what do you think the odds are that the Democrats get in next time? Like, how long do you think it might be?
Lower.
Yeah, right. Like, how long do you think? Why? Well, I just do you not feel like? I feel like for me, and again, maybe it doesn't feel this way. I guess based on the numbers, but like it feels like the trust in the Democrats is eroded. At
Say
this
someone
point.
voted for Joe Biden because you know what? He may be, but he's not going to pardon his son.
I think just
That was their reason.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't.
No, but that could be Simon. My point is like that
Why
could
did
be
he lie?
that could be the straw. Just that like now you could have been a Democratic voter forever, and now you're just looking, going, well, these guys just lie. That's all they do. They just
do
lie,
everything
and
they
they are
accuse the
the
others
war
of doing.
machine. Yeah, and they do it under this guise of like oh, but you know, we like gay people and
democracy.
trans,
Yeah,
but like
no, I totally
whole
understand
of
what you're
society.
saying. I just find it interesting that you think that him pardoning his son is going to be that straw that broke the camel's back. I think it's, first of all, people will forget about it. It's not even.
I said it could be.
The
I was
internet
just,
never dies. It'll be brought up, obviously.
I mean, Simon's right. There is a world where
I'm going to say a guy's name to you, okay? Jeffrey Epstein.
yeah.
Nobody fucking remembers him.
Because
It's
no
done.
one wants
It's
him to be
over.
remembered.
And nobody will want, what's his name to be
The
remembered.
Republicans will. The Republicans will play ads of all the Democrats who are still involved who said Joe Biden was not going to pardon Hunter.
Well, by that, then Trump should be talking about Jeffrey Epstein all the time.
Unless
If he's
one of the
innocent.
ones who wants to be.
No, again, I just, like I said, I agree with everything you said. I don't think it was right that he did it, and I don't think it'll push the needle. And I think that in 4 years, when it's time to vote Democrat again, you're still going to have the brainwashed people voting Democrat again.
I give it a 3.5. Simon, what do you rate it?
I
You
give it
already
a 3.5. Sure.
Okay. All right, we're going to take what? It's an agreement. Oh, you gave it 3.5? Oh. We have an agreement. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to pay a bill, and we will be right back. We're back.
But the sentiment was the same.
Well, I mean, I was right there telling you to take the money. So you
Well,
had
if you had asked me, I would have told you not to take the money.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Because I would have said $55. You fucking wipe your ass with $55.
Yeah. Yeah, $5,000 would have been nice. We're back. Thank you so much to BetterHelp and to the patrons, of course. You guys are the fucking real ones. Thank you to BetterHelp for the whole year, actually. Appreciate you guys. Simon, Kamar, name and a number.
2238, John McPhee.
John McAfee.
This guy was a fucking psycho. Kamar's not wrong. I mean that in the most
This is the
military dude.
military
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, this guy was fucking.
I mean, you need guys like this, but
Sounds like he
fuck me.
likes to kill.
I love how he was like, I hate alpha males. He said that like 2 hours in, and I was like, bro, I got news for you. Mm-hmm. Kamar, you have no notes?
He's done bad things. That doesn't make him a bad person.
That's your first note.
He's done good things. That doesn't make him a good person. No, he's been hurt. That doesn't mean he's a victim. He's done bad things. That doesn't mean he's a bad person.
Yeah.
But what the weird overdrop is listening to the
Overdrop.
It's
Ben's
just a made up term.
podcast is like, yeah, you did all this crazy shit, but it was not for good reasons.
Sorry, whose podcast?
He, Benz,
Ben's. Oh, the last guy.
Mike Benz.
Yeah, gotcha.
The war, like he stopped Saddam Hussein at what cost, like what benefit.
Well, I get what you're saying. He did it for the
He
military.
fucked up
Yeah.
shit over there, but under the grounds, and that's my job. And I'm not And again, he can walk with his head up. That's what he was there to do.
And if what we're saying was true, that the entire military government is totally corrupt, especially the military, then yeah, all those things he was doing under the thought process of I'm doing this for the greater good was actually the lesser.
An instrument of evil.
Yeah.
As he was saying.
In his defense, I think he has to go on living, and it's easier to just have his attitude of, I did what I was told to do. I'm the best of the best.
Of course.
And remember too, like, I mean, I don't even know. I was going to say the at some point the American military was good. They went in and
Of course, they saved Europe, you could argue.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Germans were in fucking Paris. I'm pretty sure the U.S., like I can say firmly that whatever history tells us, I'm pretty sure the U.S. doesn't get involved and the world is a different place.
All I'm asking is if the Americans don't go, if they don't exist, if that superpower doesn't exist,
Yeah.
does Russia just go in and stop Germany?
Well, they weren't doing a great job up to that point. They had a lot of fucking casualties, but
Well, I mean, I think I remember hearing somewhere that Russia did all the heavy lifting.
I mean, again, they had the most casualties. They lost the most people. They were probably on the front lines the most, but don't forget,
That doesn't mean they're a shittier military. That just might mean they did all the fucking dirty work, you know?
again, I'm not taking away what the Russians did in World War II. I want to make that very clear.
I'm just wondering, and I'm not saying this to be insulting towards the U.S. I'm just wondering how much of what we know is because that's the way the history was written and it didn't maybe go down so much like that. I don't know.
Well, I personally disagree. I feel like despite whatever propaganda you feel like you've been fed throughout your life, I think if the U.S. doesn't get involved there, it's probably pretty ugly. But I could be wrong. You could be right. Listen, Simon,
No,
everything I've known in my life has been wrong. So there's a good chance you're right and that I'm incorrect.
I mean, like for the longest time, I thought the Americans went in and saved the Jews. That wasn't the case. It was like a happy accident. You know what I mean? They weren't going there to help the Jews. They didn't
No.
even know the Jews were there.
Well, they were going there to help everyone. Well, clearly the Jews don't do too well.
Confliction.
They
I know they stumbled across the concentration camps. I understand
no.
that.
Again, my recollection of history is terrible.
Okay.
They get attacked at Pearl Harbor. They drop the bomb.
Well, no, hold on. They got attacked at Pearl Harbor. They did not join the war after that, right away.
No, but this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, it's not until after. They were fighting their own shit with Japan, right?
No.
They weren't?
There was no immediate, I don't believe there was an immediate attack on Japan after Pearl Harbor.
Okay, well, they dropped the bomb at some point, right?
Yeah, that was at the very end of the war.
It was at the very end of the war.
Kamar?
So Pearl Harbor happens,
Yeah.
and they just sit on that shit for a while.
I
Like
believe
again,
so.
I'm not disagreeing or agreeing. I don't know.
I'll find out the date. What is the date of
But
Hey Siri, what's the date of Pearl Harbor?
But this is exactly what I mean. Like, I grew up being
1942.
told.
No, it can't be.
No, December 7th, 1941 was Pearl
1942.
Harbor.
That's 1942.
Hey Siri, when did the
Pretty close. I
U.S.
guess we'll put it for
enter
that.
World War II?
In 1942, right?
Oh, it says that's when they joined the war. I
Yeah.
thought we had done this
No.
before, though, on this show, and
No,
decided that that's not when they joined the
No,
war.
that is when they joined the war. And,
I hate this show. I hate our show.
And that was exactly my point, is like, it was all for the better. Anyways, I don't think they were out there saving anybody. I think they ended up saving people because,
Isn't that the point of joining a war, to save people? I don't get it.
yeah, I guess.
You're forgetting, too, that during World War II, the military-industrial complex was not what it is today. It was after World War II
Yeah,
that
it
they
was
started
after. Yep,
warning
yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yep,
Like,
that's
you're
right.
forgetting that everyday Americans were giving up,
Yep.
like, steel pots and
you're-
shit to
you're
help fight
absolutely
the
right.
war
Yep,
efforts.
yep,
That's
yep,
not,
yep, yep.
not entirely true what you're doing.
And I'm not taking anything away from the American citizens who volunteered to go to
Of course,
war.
I know you're not.
I think it would be naive of us to think that even back then, that the government was like telling the truth to its people. You know what I mean? To get them to go over there to fight. That's not usually how it works. You know, there's usually a lot of propaganda in effect. And we know that the Americans had a lot. We want you like, and I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Point being, though, all that propaganda, if the U.S. did save Europe
Okay.
in World War II, the propaganda was almost somewhat just, agreed? I mean, even then, there was no propaganda. They had conscription. They were, right? You had to fight. That's what draft dodgers were.
Yeah, I know. So why bother with the "we want you"? Oh, that was to try and get the people so they didn't have to draft them, I guess. Why? What's your
Well,
smirk for?
they're just hiring. They're just hiring. Every place
hiring.
you got to hire.
Oh.
So back to the beginning of this podcast, they were talking about getting drugged, and I feel like Joe sort of threw Hans Kim under the bus.
Yeah, really.
He got drugged.
That was amazing. And they didn't say his name until right at the end. I was like,
Just could have been a guy. Like
just could have been
all the
any,
other-
Could have been anyone,
any
yeah.
comedian.
Nope.
I had no idea. And then he was like, yeah, it was this
Hans
guy
Kim.
named Hans
Yeah.
Kim. I was like, oh, thanks, Joe.
Well, didn't he fuck Kill Tony over Hans Kim?
He did?
Didn't he?
No.
I wonder if
How?
that's all going to implode.
Was he still there?
He's on tour probably or getting robbed.
Because I'd read online that they had a copyright strike from singing his song on the show.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. Because he has some jingle, doesn't he?
Yeah. This is
Yeah,
Hans
yeah,
Kim.
yeah.
This is Hans Kim. But that, I mean, Tony made that song up.
No, it's a song.
It's whose song?
We'll do it at the break, but there's a video about it, how it's a rip-off of a song. Not a rip-off, or interpolation. Because it's too good.
Oh,
to just
yeah.
be made up.
Sorry. I don't think, yes. I think Tony had heard a song that went. Dun, dun, dun,
Oh, and that
dun,
person
dun,
did the
dun.
copyright strike. Well, that's possible, yeah.
I just, I
Simon?
don't think.
Very possible.
I think
Very
he would be
possible.
crazy to bite the hand that feeds.
I agree, but it wouldn't be outside the realm of like, oh, they had some small beef that blew up, and you know what I mean? That happens all the time.
Yeah, but no, it does.
Yeah, but
It does. Yeah, dude, I feel so stupid today. I can't even tell you. Like, my brain is not working properly.
Simon, look at me. My brain hasn't worked for 41 fucking years. All right.
No, but usually I come here and I'm sharp as a tack. Today I feel like this guy.
That's it. The song is called Ready to Die by Angie WK. The first 10 seconds use the same or extremely similar beat as Hans Kim's song. Very annoying, but standard Dirty Bag Corporation. It's Universal that owns the rights to the song.
So there you go. It was Universal that had the copyright strike. That had nothing to do with Hans Kim. That makes more sense.
But you were right. They
Well,
talked
no,
about,
I did say they got a copyright strike, so that would be it. Yeah.
Have you do you see the most recent one with Rick Glassman?
Yeah,
really
that's not
frustrates
the most
Tony.
recent
Well,
one. There's
sorry,
one
not the
after.
most.
Yeah.
But David Luke was on. He's looking ashy, eh?
Dude, yeah. I mean, I don't like David Luke, but he was so funny on it. Like, he's so funny.
Rick Glassman.
Rick
He's
Glassman
wild.
is
He's wild.
hilarious.
So
Yeah.
funny.
And trying to watch Tony control him was extra funny because he couldn't do it, but he thought he was doing it because, you know, Tony is like so
Thinks he's a comic whisperer.
egomaniacal that he like has these comedians on his show who are more successful than him in the world of comedy. I know Kill Tony is more successful, but Tony as a comedian isn't more successful.
Then Glassman? I don't know. It's arguable.
I'm not even saying Glassman.
Okay, fair enough.
Just it's whoever.
Yep.
But when you're on his show, he fucking talks down to you. It's crazy.
That is the show.
And I just want to say this, okay? What the fuck? How? After all this time, have the garbage guys not been on Rogan?
You have a real problem with that. Yeah.
I have a real problem with that.
You've
These
mentioned it,
guys
yeah.
are like legit dudes in the scene. They know everybody. They're friends with everybody. Except
Joe Rogan.
Joseph R. Rogan.
There's time, man. You act like Joe's dead. What if they're on in 4 months? Is that good enough for you?
Yeah.
Okay, well then chill.
I mean, it's not great.
They
He's
don't.
still a couple
maybe
of
they
years
just
late.
don't need it, and there's
Yeah.
timing schedule that they've got.
No,
their
they
plate is
totally
full.
couldn't need it. But how is
Simon, hold
Joe
on.
not reaching out to them?
Wait a minute. That's the biggest power. That's the biggest alpha move ever.
What?
Joe invites you on the show, and you're like,
just say no?
We're actually pretty busy for like the next 6 months. We'll see if we can squeeze you in around spring. You know, like
Well, that is a power.
that's a
move.
fucking power move. We don't really need the bump right now. We're actually doing pretty good. We're sold out of merch.
I don't know if you've heard about our Patreon, but it fucking rocks.
They talked about how martial arts. The idea was it would equal out the smaller guy with the bigger guy, And there's always that thing when you had a friend or someone who took self-defense and they're like, grab me like this. You'd be like, well, what if I don't grab you like that? You try to learn things so specifically.
I mean, it's funny. My dad, who was a cop, so he was obviously trained, like he would constantly get me in some sort of, and I was like, you outweigh me by 200 pounds. So like, I understand that this is effective, but like, I'm a small woman.
You didn't know you could put him in a triangle.
Yeah, it's like no matter how much jujitsu I knew,
Yeah,
I
my dad
wasn't
was-
submitting Ahmed. You know what I
Exactly, yeah.
mean?
Well, I
Like his
guess
neck
at
was
some
too.
point.
That's rude.
No, but I get what Simon's saying. Like, my dad has just always been that much bigger than me that there was never a fucking shot. Like, unless I was a black belt, in that case, maybe, but like, short of that, just no fucking shot.
Apparently, John McPhee was ghost hunting at Gettysburg. How many places are there, if you believe in this place where a lot of people died, that are just
I mean, wouldn't there be other places that have like a way bigger body
these
count, like
places
South
that,
America or
the Genghis Khan?
If McAfee, whatever his name is, had told
McPhee,
Joe
yeah.
that he took his son Bigfoot hunting, we never would have heard the end of it. But he says, I happened to be ghost hunting at Gettysburg, and Joe is like all into it. Fuck this guy. You know what I was going to say about our show? I was
on.
thinking this.
Okay.
Like, what is our show good for? Which isn't much.
absolutely nothing. Say it
A
again.
podcast about a podcast, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But if you are looking for like the silver lining,
Yeah.
Joe's sphere is a pretty big one.
Yeah.
And 99.9% of the people in that sphere are yes men and sycophants.
Yeah.
And at
We
least
buck the
some of
trend.
us are not
Yeah. Well, we try
on
to.
this show.
So you're saying you. Yeah.
No, but at least you're going to get like, you may like some of the ideas of the people on Joe Rogan, but can't stand Joe Rogan himself, which
Yeah.
is just, that happens,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
He's not for everybody.
Yeah.
That's where we come in. Well, I mean, we're also not for everybody,
I would say we are definitely not everyone's cup of tea.
but for different
comments
for
will tell you
different
that.
reasons. We're certainly not out here like grandstanding about how much money we have.
We don't have any.
No, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're
Didn't-
much more
didn't buy
relatable.
didn't
in
buy
that
crypto.
respect.
Didn't buy crypto when we were talking about it, and we're paying the fucking price.
Joe
That
Rogan-
reminds me. Hold on. I'll probably edit this out because this is not financial advice. Simon, from the bottom of my heart, when you sell your house,
I'm putting it all into Nvidia. Every single penny.
oh no, here I would say half of it. That's fine.
No, if I do sell my house, I'm gonna put some money in.
You didn't let me finish. At some point in the next like couple of years, year or two, year and a half, whatever, crypto will go back down. Bitcoin will go back down to like 60,000 US. When that happens, you have to load up. It will be the last time in our lifetime where you will be able to buy it at 60,000. There's a chance that by 2035, it's $1 million a Bitcoin. There, like, I know that sounds fucking obscene. It sounds impossible.
That's what they've said all along.
No, I don't think it's impossible. If this really is a convergence point,
Yeah.
and
Like,
Trump, the guy after Trump is just another player in dismantling then yes, I mean, fuck, they'll need crypto.
And I'm just telling you, I'm giving you, who actually has potentially liquid cash to do so, you could have financial freedom in under 10 years.
Yes, I totally agree. Just bigger scheme of things. I don't believe like
What a run.
after Trump's done,
Yeah.
I think we go back to status quo. I think this machine it may pause for 4 years,
And then it's just right back
but
to
I don't think
business as
Trump
usual.
is able to dismantle it. I think there are so many, I don't know what the word is, but
moving parts.
no, like they've made it so it doesn't matter who comes in to power.
Yeah,
the
yeah, we
machine
can go
always
without for
pushes,
8 years.
But we could go
Yeah, yeah,
out
we'll
for
hibernate
20
for a bit.
years.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
We'll be back stronger than ever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's never 20 years and it's never 8 years. It's usually 4 years.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the most they got to wait. But 8, they can. They're ready to wait 8.
Your prediction would be that the Republicans will not re-win the election in 2029.
I think they will.
Well, and isn't it funny that like they may keep
2028.
winning and then next thing you know 20 years from now the Republicans are the Democrats and they've just
That's what I've
switched
been
the
saying.
whole fucking
Yeah.
thing on you. And the
If
people
it-
you don't want in are in.
If that is what happens, I think that's a good thing. We haven't blown ourselves up. believe the X Factor will hit before then. Joe's getting into football, and John McAfee would abuse his kid. He didn't say that like he wanted to hurt it, but he had some really rough comeuppings, and he feels that made him the way it is. I wonder if you could figure out how many fighters are only children and siblings. You think siblings fight more, but my one example would be Mike Tyson was an only child.
Only children sounds like a weird pedophile OnlyFans. Like,
Back to pedophile. It's on the brain, I guess.
It's because he's an audiophile, so now he's
Joe wondered if he would think the special forces could go in and take out the cartel.
Well, they talked about this like a couple episodes ago, didn't they?
Yeah, but he
Well,
wants
this is
every
special
he wants
forces
he wants
vibe.
every operator's opinion on it now. He wants to know how they feel.
Well, no, I did like that this guy felt a little different than the last guy who just said, we'll go in there and fuck those guys up. And what did he say? Like 13 hours?
It was quick.
What this guy says makes more sense. Remember, these guys have all the same guns you do, and they live there. So this is you going into their house. It's not going to be that easy.
They have more skin in the
It's
fight,
what's
too.
happened in, like, remember Afghanistan?
Well, don't forget too, Mexico City is on like a fucking mountain. And that was the problem with Afghanistan is the mountain region was like impossible
Yeah,
to
there's lots of mountain
That's why I'm saying
region in
Mexico, yeah,
Mexico. You know,
yeah.
Mexico has bears
Okay.
that live in the mountains.
I believe it.
Black bears.
Maybe they'll get the bears to fight. The cartel cartel
They
is
probably
cocaine
already
bears
own
fighting.
the bears.
He was on government prescribed speed. Where have you heard that before? The Nazis. He used the term "the wire." Have you heard that term? So wherever the base is, the confines of the base is the wire. Everything on the wire is for all
To go outside the wire.
enemy territory. And it must be weird being on the outside of the world and being in one safe place, and everywhere else is like a war zone.
Safe is a very relative term.
He talked about Saddam's harem, and for some reason, Saddam had
he
an
liked ugly
girl
women.
which he liked to give head.
You know, it was a weird part when he was like, yeah, I can't watch any of those military movies like that Lone Survivor. Have you ever seen Lone Survivor?
Which one's that?
Anyways, he says, I'll tell you one second.
Wait, 'cause he was like, I don't
I would never
understand.
be in that
Yeah.
situation with 7 guys stranded on
He's
because
like,
I would
7
go
guys-
in and kill
yeah,
everybody.
7 guys. We're a wrecking crew.
Like, I'm pretty sure those guys were all like top. One of them was on Rogan.
Well, Luttrell
Remember
lost
him?
his whole fucking squad got wiped out.
He was the guy who was
yeah,
on
Marcus
Rogan.
Luttrell.
but I
Yeah.
believe those were Rangers.
Oh, this guy's a SEAL.
He's anti-Rangers.
I just thought it was a little flippant, it was a little disrespectful towards that group of people.
Well, I guess these guys have to have their egos. He was talking about how awesome it is being in a truck with a 50 cal just ripping people in the street apart.
Yeah, that sounds
Chaos is
amazing.
his jam. That's what he just started to sound crazy.
Have
like
you
a psychopath.
Have you seen? Oh, by the way, Lone Survivor is the one where they're stuck on the mountains with Marky Mark. It's all famous guys.
Yeah,
the guy
yeah.
from Friday Night Lights. But what
you
I was
both
gonna
seen
say,
it?
have you seen Three Kings?
Yeah, with
When they're blowing up the
Yeah, with
cows,
Spike Jonze
That
and Ice
when
Cube.
this guy was telling his stories, I just kept thinking about them blowing up cows.
Press
'cause
the button.
It's the JRE movie game. The time has come again. For Matt and Simon to rack the brains to guess the budget in the box office. We all know they won't guess the year, and the Patreons are the real winners here at the JRE movie game. Come on, take it away, baby.
It's the movie game where Matt and Simon go head to head to find out what year a movie came out, how much it cost to make, and how much it made at the box office. This week we're doing Three Kings because it made Simon think of it.
Oh, I thought we were doing Lone Survivor. 3 Kings. Okay, let's do it.
Starring George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, Ice Cube, Spike Jonze, Nora Dunn, Jamie Kennedy, Melektic Williamson,
Jamie Kennedy.
Cliff Curtis, and Saeed Tamaoui.
I have a year ready, Simon.
Let me see here. Hold on one sec.
I mean, this movie is just more evidence that everything is bullshit.
Okay,
When
I'm ready with a
after
year.
the fact.
I said 97.
I said 98.
Came actually in 1999. But obviously, the Pentagon or the powers that be have to give approval for these movies to be made. So again, like we've talked about Generation Kill before. Is it all true? What would they
What
must
were
be
they?
classified
Well,
shit.
well, that's why I said it's. What I found funny was like they killed Bin Laden, and then like a year later, Hollywood had a green light to make a film about the whole operation, and it was like, well, you declassified that pretty fucking quick, didn't you? Like we still don't know what happened to JFK.
Got to be a reason.
Simon, you have the rest ready?
Yeah.
All right, I said it cost 40 million and it made 146.
I said it cost 35 million and it made 246.
Budget 48 million.
I'm right there.
Box office 107.7 million. I guess a lot of people didn't want to see. It's a very specific
Still made money.
audience.
Still made money.
Yeah, but it was
Had George
George
had
Clooney
Clooney
and Ice Cube. I thought it was like, and
No one knew who Spike Jones was then.
Marky Mark.
No, Marky Mark was not in this film.
Mark Wahlberg was.
Was
I read
in
his
this
name off.
film?
Yeah, he was. Boom. Simon wins.
There you go. Wow, Simon.
And that's the movie game.
Who was Mark
in
Wahlberg?
both
Was he a-
He was a main character. It was the three of them: Ice Cube, Marky Mark.
Oh, you're
and,
right. Yeah,
George Clooney.
I kept thinking Spike
And
Jones,
in
but he
the
was like
other
the
one,
fourth guy.
It was Thor. No, not Thor. It was. Oh yeah, maybe it was Thor.
No, it was not.
Wasn't Thor?
George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, and Ice Cube were the three soldiers.
No, I'm talking about Lone Survivor.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
now
it
he's
was
talking
Mark
about Lone
Wahlberg.
Survivor.
The guy from Friday Night Lights.
Guy from Friday
Which
Night
one?
Lights.
Jesse
Riggs.
Plemons.
No, Riggins.
Okay,
the cool
yeah,
guy.
Yeah.
And the other two guys.
And then there was that Ben Simmons guy. Do you know him?
Yeah.
He's in tons
He's
of movies.
intense.
He's a blonde guy.
Yeah,
He looks
like
he
a kind
looks-
of a blonde.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then there's another
his name
famous
Ben
guy.
Simmons?
I thought his.
Good for you, Simon.
I don't know if that's right, Maddie. I
What a
said it
pull.
like I knew, but
Yeah.
somebody should pull up. Kamar, are you doing that?
No, he's not. You know
Yeah.
he's not.
I am.
Who are the actors in it?
Mark Wahlberg, Taylor Kitsch, Emil
That's him.
Hirsch, and
Emil
Ben
Hirsch.
Foster.
Neil Hirsch.
And who?
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster, not Ben Simmons. And who's the fifth guy? There are five guys on the mountain.
Eric Bana.
Eric Bana.
Hulk. Yeah. The Aussie.
No, he's the captain.
Well, those are the.
I don't think he's
there's
on the
four
mountain.
guys on the mountain.
No, there's five guys on the mountain.
Mark Wahlberg, Taylor Kitsch, Emil Hirsch, and Ben Foster.
We're forgetting someone.
Okay,
Well,
whatever,
they're not
man.
listing
Well, this is
someone.
not. Yeah. What are we doing here?
Now it gets creepy because he brings out Saddam's hat. That's one thing. You know, you could have something that makes you sentimental, but then he brings in a gun that apparently smuggled in, and he's trying to sell it.
But didn't.
And I feel legitimately he was like,
But didn't.
Do you know someone who wants to buy it?
No, because he was at first he was like, "This is Saddam Hussein's gun," and Joe was like, "That's crazy." And then he was like, "Actually, you can't really leave the country with guns." So I just took the hand plate off and had someone else recreate the gun. And I was like, "So it's not the gun."
Well, there's that, but he's still trying to sell it.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
He also wears Saddam's sweater on Christmas. So listen,
Super
this
weird.
guy isn't the most well-adjusted.
Super
There's a lot. Well, he thinks he's a normal
Super
guy.
Weird.
The idea.
That is not normal,
Nope.
by the way. That's
Nope.
not normal.
What about the idea
That's
that-
one. I'm sorry, Kumar. That is one step away from wearing like your victim's skin on Thanksgiving.
Dude, I'm surprised he didn't have a ring of ears around his neck. Or something. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
exactly
fuck,
right.
dude. Like,
That's exactly right. He was Kurtz.
yeah, 100%.
I feel like he may have.
I think
Yeah, I
that
feel
somebody
like he
had to
may
go
have as
into the
well.
jungle to find him because he had gone rogue.
Dude, this guy for sure, but was loving it.
Kurtz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you be interested to go in the creepy museum he was talking about, possibly selling the gun to?
You've seen Apocalypse Now?
Yeah.
If we talk about these places that are haunted or bad mojo, because I guess Joe said he was trying to buy David Koresh's Mustang or Corvette.
Have you
that
ever
was
been
weird.
to a haunted place before?
Not that I know of specifically. I
Well,
would think,
you've been to Lion Mackenzie King's, right? That's supposed to be haunted with his dead mother.
So, Simon, you know, if you drive out the back of the Good onto 4th Avenue,
Yeah.
if you turn left, like 6 houses down, there's a converted church
Yeah,
that's like
I know.
4 houses.
Yeah.
So my grandmother lived there for like a decade,
Okay.
and she swore up and down that place was haunted.
By who?
She said that she swears that one night she saw one of her dresses floating through the house.
Really?
And I swear to God.
This is Mary.
Yeah, you know I don't buy it, but yeah. You can ask her about it next time you see her.
Well, I mean, listen, that's an old building that got converted and an old
It's a church,
church at
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And who knows what the church was before it was a church.
Yeah.
Look at all the flies in here.
Yeah, what's happening?
What is
like
happening?
little Mogadishu down
Like
here.
just all of a sudden there's like 10 flies down here.
He really starts to go pro on his merch, and then he mentions that diesel fuel will get rid of DNA, and that just creeped me the fuck out. The knife,
Yeah, when he was like clean the
made
knife,
of
he kept
plastic.
saying,
Yeah,
clean
but
the knife
you know
with
what?
diesel.
Super handy to know.
Yeah, I mean, in a pinch. Listen, I'm not mad at him. I'm just saying.
I mean, I don't know where you're going to get diesel fuel.
there was just a creepy joy. He
Is
had
that
in
just
everything he
gas,
talked
by
about.
the way? Is diesel fuel gas?
yeah, it's a
Why
different
wouldn't you
kind
say
of gas.
gasoline?
Well, can we just use gasoline to take our fingerprints off things?
Well, that's a good question. I get what you're saying now.
And my last note
For sure, you can use rubbing alcohol.
Well, why wouldn't it say that? Why diesel fuel? I wonder.
Well, because that's what he had on hand.
Oh,
in,
that's a good point. We just had tons of diesel fuel. Yeah, because all of the shit runs off it. I didn't get him, you dirty
I don't
bastard.
know why you thought you were going to get them.
Simon.
Oh my God,
I
this
need
is
you to
crazy.
Clap. Listen, if you clap 3 inches above him, it'll get him. Quick. There, see? Fuck yeah, buddy.
the only thing better is if he snapped your finger there.
For everyone,
you
that's
fucking see that?
For
That was
everyone,
incredible.
for everyone, that's the key to flies. Flies, when they fly away, they have to jump first.
That's very smart.
So they jump up. So if you go like 3 inches above the fly and clap, you will almost
What are the
always get it.
chances that that stupid fly
Landed
landed
on the
right on
edge
his
of my
finger?
finger.
I thought you tamed it.
I did, yeah, of course.
Incredible.
the
You're
flow.
like Crocodile Dundee with the fucking bull,
Yeah.
which they're making a remake of with
With who?
Okay, guess who's Crocodile Dundee? Well, okay, sorry. First of all, it's not Crocodile Dundee. It's like his long lost son who's going back to try and find him or something.
Well, it would have to be Thor, right? Or one of them?
No, it's somebody you'll never guess.
Well, then just tell me.
McBride.
Danny McBride?
Annie McBride.
With an Australian
is
accent?
doing-
Fucking
no,
right.
no, he's an American.
I hate it. I hate it. I literally despise that.
Well, time will tell. If you want to be in the game, he says 10,000 steps a day. We previously heard 7,000, so it's got to be between
To
7.
be in what game?
Just to be healthy.
physically.
Oh, the game.
I keep
Able.
mine set at 10.
So between 7 and 10,000 every day.
You'd be surprised at how easily you can get 10,000 steps in. It's not difficult.
You'd also be surprised how easily you can get no steps in.
No, I wouldn't. No, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
I rate this a 2.
That's it?
Yeah, I give it a 2 as well. Seemed
They
like
talked a lot about fighting and stuff.
Yeah, well, this guy trained with everyone. You forgot to mention that. Like Hoist Gracie, fucking
He's the real deal,
Yeah.
Holyfield. He's just a psycho.
in the non-pejorative. But yes, a total fucking psycho.
He's exactly the type of people you want to have going over there
Yeah,
to do this
100%.
kind of
Yeah.
killing.
Unwoke.
I feel like he's like the Bears. He's exactly who we thought they were. Kamar, last one.
Oh, I didn't rate it. I give it a 3.
Thank you, Simon. Go ahead, Kamar.
This guy is full of shit. He just said he had no idea they could even test your blood for drugs. Oh, no, this is a comment for our next guest, actually. I didn't mean to slander somebody.
You're hilarious.
I don't love when this guy is on.
Are you going to give us the name and the number, Kamar?
Yeah, I did something wrong.
Derek something from More Plates, More Dates. And
That's it. It's Derek More Plates.
if
More
there's
Dates.
ever been a name of a company that you would want to change, but you can't because that's how you got all your followers and you'll lose them all if you change.
Can't you just be happy
'Cause
for a
other-
fellow Ontarian?
Otherwise,
Can't
Matt,
you just be happy?
That should be
no,
seen.
no. All
is
I'm
he?
saying,
Maybe.
Matt, is otherwise he would have changed his name a long time ago. There's no way he's happy with that name.
I think he is happy
No,
with it.
I
This isn't an
disagree.
online PlayStation name. I, think
totally
More Plates.
disagree.
Okay.
Two,
I think he's even said it
239,
before
Derek.
on
More plates, more
Rogan that he
dates.
hates it, but he has to keep it.
Again, you might be right.
More plates, more dates. It's a stupid name.
So they started talking about the assassination, which obviously you guys heard of.
I'm a
The,
name guy, Matt.
Yeah, the
health
healthcare
insurance
one. Yeah.
and the etched on the bullets. You haven't heard any of this?
No, what are you talking about?
So I think it was Monday morning, 6 a.m. Some guy's walking to a shareholder meeting for
United Healthcare or whatever the fuck it was called.
an insurance company. And some guy just walks up behind him with a gun with a silencer, shoots him,
In New York.
gets on a e-bike, rides in such a park.
Oh, I heard this. Yeah. What is that written on the bullet?
Deny, depose, defend.
Is written on the bullets
Etched on the bullets.
that he shot the guy in the back of the
that
head
he
with.
shot. And that is sort of like the idea of what insurance companies do
Well, this
when
insurance
they're
company,
trying to fight claims.
Simon, this insurance company in particular, it's worth noting that their whole thing was they used AI to deny as many claims as they could. So
Listen, there's that amazing scene in one of my favorite movies ever, Fight Club,
I knew you were going to, yeah.
where he tells that whole way they work out
Yeah, Edward Norton has
how
that whole
to
monologue.
not pay
yeah.
out the fucking things with the cars, and that's all true. That's what insurance companies do. I like, part of me, I'm like, the sentiment is great.
Well, that's what's weird about
But
this
the other
case.
part of me is like, if everybody thinks like that, then we're just gonna have fucking every second person running around with bullets with fucking I
Deposed.
hate Billy on them etched onto him, and Billy's gonna be lying on the street with a hole in the back of his head.
Oh, no, obviously that's no way to run a civil society.
Well,
But
no, I feel like that's how you'd like to run it.
just anyone can walk up and kill anyone.
Well, I mean, no NATO, you know what I mean? Just get rid of anybody who's trying to help anybody
think
and
that's a
let
stretch on your
everyone
part.
fend for themselves.
I got to be real. If you're asking me if I'm sad that some CEO who was denying healthcare claims so he could be rich got shot in the back of the head, I feel
This is it, and a lot of people are saying that's super.
I mean,
callous.
I think that is
Kamar?
callous. I would like to see that guy go to prison. I don't think I'd like to see him get shot in the back of the head.
I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm just saying that I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
Like I said, the premise,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
The
Execution,
actual
yeah.
execution, no pun
Literally, yeah.
intended. I think
but
we
I mean,
have some
this could be
problems.
a new great conspiracy. Not great. In
What
a,
is the
it's a good thing.
conspiracy?
Well, if this guy never gets caught, the CEO
I
bandit
see.
or whatever you want to call it, and
He's
more
a
fall.
serial killer. If he had only like got a better getaway than the electric bike.
But they're
Like how
talking
the
about
CEO bandit.
you initially think when you hear about those bullets, this guy got denied a claim or a family member got denied a claim.
Yeah, it was nothing like that.
Well, no one knows what it is.
This guy's
but
still on the land.
What if this was to throw off the trail?
Oh,
and
he
something
did
else?
get away.
He's gotten away.
Yeah. They have
This is
there's a
it.
photo of him circulating, but
Oh, so the electric bike was the best way to get
Yep.
away. This guy killed it, no pun intended.
jeez, you're just on fire. Shecky Green over here.
Boom, boom.
I'm in the Catskills all week.
Take my wife, please.
No, literally, take my wife.
There's a weird thing that we have this expectation that the best should be good people, and when it came to talking about fighters,
What do you mean?
like Conor McGregor, he's such a piece of shit. Like, why can't he be a nice guy or whatever? John Jones. Like,
We
just-
never talked about all the trouble he's in, eh?
We spoke a little bit about it on the post show.
Did we?
Did you hear the debate about that?
I think what's really sad is like Conor McGregor, his story, like before he got huge, is like it's like literally the American dream. It's what everyone like. He couldn't pay his bills, but there's like video of him being like, "I will be the fucking UFC champion." Like I will. And again, there's probably 100 videos of guys who never made it saying the same thing. But like, dude, he rose to the top. He made more money than anyone in the game ever, and then got hooked on coke. Clearly. It's a hell of a drug.
As who wouldn't?
I wouldn't, but I'm sure you would.
If you were the heavyweight champion of
Mary's
the world,
upstairs cooking.
if you were the heavyweight champion of the world, you wouldn't.
If I was the heavyweight champion of the world, I wouldn't do coke. No,
Okay.
I'm not saying I wouldn't be on my luxury yacht often like him, but cocaine. No. I mean, I don't do coke, so
I feel if I had the just like endless amounts of money, I'd do coke all the time.
oh yeah. So you're backing
Why?
up what
Why
Kamar's,
wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're backing up what Kamar's saying.
Like we don't do coke all the time now because you have to live your life and you have to function and go to work. If you're just fucking
You're just out
on
there
your yacht
willy-nilly.
all the
But
time,
as Scott Storch said, even that gets empty. I
well,
think
then I'll just switch to a different drug. Like fuck, this can go on for a while.
Better yacht.
this
Yacht and heroin.
Yeah, different drug, better yacht.
repetitive topic, but it'd be better for you if Joe just attacked Trudeau and to call Canada.
Oh, I
crazy
wish
place.
I wish you would do that. I mean, I guess I'm guilty of the same thing sometimes, but I don't have any sway where Joe has a lot of sway. Like Joe says all these shitty things about Canada, and trust me, the next time you go down to the States, they're gonna treat you like a leper. They're gonna be like, oh, you're Canadian.
Yeah, oh, communist Canada. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Go-
actually agree. Every time I go to the States, they're very nice. There's some people that make jokes about it, but I'm an adult with pretty thick skin, so I think I'll be okay.
We gotta get Polyev in there as soon as possible so that Trump doesn't pick on us anymore. It's true.
They spoke about Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Do you remember being a young kid and being like, that guy's Canadian as well?
Ben Johnson?
Just weird. Just the first inches of like,
Are you saying that because he's black?
no, he's from Jamaica. I mean, his accent was clearly like it just. It was a demonstration of diversity for sure,
Dude.
But just seeing that we brought this, it was almost like a ringer.
I mean, now everyone from Toronto sounds like Ben Johnson. So
There aren't many things I remember from my life, but I can clearly remember staying up to watch that race because it was on late.
In Seoul,
for
I
what
believe. It was in Seoul.
wherever it was. It was on late. I think it was like at 12 o'clock midnight or whatever. Stayed up, watched the race, won. It was so amazing. Went to sleep, woke up the next morning, medal gone. Again, it was such an outrage.
Yeah.
Like there had never been, I mean, Canada had never had anything like that.
it happened to Ross Rebliati a decade or two later.
Totally different.
No, I know, but same thing. I woke up the next day and I was like, oh, this guy no longer has a medal.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different.
Well, it was totally different. Like
The best was when
he
remember-
wasn't a cheater, Ross Ribigliati. He
you
just bad luck.
Do you remember when like 10 years ago when he did those cheetah sports drink ads? I'm a cheetah.
He ended up opening up a legal weed company.
Of course he did.
One of the takeaways
wouldn't
I
you?
got from this podcast is that steroids make you gay. They talked about RFK being on steroids. Is that something I think the Democrats could attack him for? Is another reason, like this roid monkey. I guess they attack him for he says he worms his brain.
This roid monkey.
Joe now says that lying is a mental illness.
That's bullshit. Joe lies to his kids. Everyone lies a little bit. I think you have to.
Everyone
That's how
maybe
you
has a
get
little
through.
bit of mental illness. And I think it's funny when they talk about Joe's signature kick. He says, my kick, the spinning back kick.
Like there's someone in Japan 200 years ago who's like, come on.
Is everyone entitled to have their own move?
Dude, when he tells the story about fucking GSP, I just cringe every time.
No, it's when GSP tells his story about hearing Joe. What are you talking about?
Joe always tells the story about GSP asking him to teach
Oh, yeah.
him
Yeah, okay,
the
that
spinning
one.
back.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe, you have to teach me the spinning back kick because I'm just a stupid Quebecer who doesn't know how to do anything. I just find the bullies on the street that I know from grade 9 and I pulled them out of the car and I'm going to beat the shit out of them, but then I don't because I'm a nice guy now and I say, here's $10, go down to the store and change your life.
That was the worst. For
that
that
went
like
First
went
Nations at
First
the end.
Nations hard at the end. Yeah.
Only-
Wow.
Only right at the end. It went First Nations hard. I agree. I heard it and I thought, how did that switch so
How have I
quickly?
gotten into this room? What else you got, Kamar?
Do you think, or would you try to fly a plane?
Do you think I would fly a
Do
plane?
you
Is that your
think,
question?
or
You think
do
I
you
would-
try to fly a plane?
I've got to get
Try
out of
that
here.
again.
You're near an airport. Would you run there, look at a little Cessna or something? You have no idea to fly it, but you try.
Oh, I see.
Well, because
Like, it
everyone
depends
thinks,
the situation.
well, everyone thinks, as they're talking about, in the air, you can fly a plane.
Yeah.
You could like, ooh, okay, don't do that again.
Yeah.
But do you think?
I think I've watched enough
Nope.
shows
Nope.
that I could take
Nope.
a plane off. Yeah,
No,
no,
you couldn't.
Yes,
I
I
don't
could.
No,
think
you
you could turn
couldn't.
it on.
Yes, I could.
Thank you, Kamar. There's
And I
like
don't think I
You
could turn
don't
it-
think I could turn it on? I 100% could
Well,
turn it on.
This is what I'm saying. They said once the plane's in flight, sure, you can figure it out.
Listen,
What
in
about the
all
flaps?
fairness, I don't know like the taxiing protocol,
no, of course not.
but I'm pretty sure I could get the plane up in the air.
Simon,
There's
in
a
this-
couple switches you got to do in an order or something.
in the scenario where you're in the fucking pilot seat, there's no taxiing protocol that you're gonna have to follow. He's talking like you're running zone.
No, but I'm saying like I'm not
You still couldn't.
learning all the stuff. I'm not getting my license. That's not what
I
we're talking
understand.
about.
I still don't
here.
think you could get the thing off the ground.
This is for your life, obviously.
You pull back.
Yeah, you got to get the thing up to speed.
You get up
You got
to
get the
speed,
flaps right. You don't know-
88.8 miles. I've seen Back to the Future.
66.7 megawatts. Marty.
I'm pretty sure it's 88 miles an hour, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyways, I could get up in the air. Don't be crazy. Is this is the next thing you want to try?
Yeah.
Look, I kicked the field goal.
You're not taking a plane off.
Don't doubt me.
One of the things we've fallen for historically is the Olympics.
Fallen. What
does that mean?
Historically.
How Joe is saying it started out with no money in it
Yeah.
for the love of the game.
Okay.
And I remember being a kid going, yeah, it's great because they don't get paid. Not thinking that there's still billions of dollars being generated
I never knew they didn't get paid till I was an adult.
And, you know, the cities or the host countries are paying for it, where it should actually be a windfall for whoever hosts it. And the IC has a management wing, but they sort of throw it on your lap and it's a windfall. But it's really just it's almost a circus.
It is a circus.
And every nation that, or every city, whatever, that country, city.
Country.
Well,
it's a country that hosts it.
it's a country that hosts it.
I mean, there is a city. There's a host city, but the whole don't
Or
forget
like the Salt Lake Olympics.
America's
No, I get
hosted
it. Like Paris hosted the
Yeah,
Olympics,
yeah.
but don't forget there was events all over France. There was one in Tahiti for fuck's
Yeah,
sakes,
that
right?
usually doesn't happen.
Okay.
True.
Like if the place is big enough,
Yeah.
then you don't have to do it all over the country. You would just do it in the city that it was from.
I get it.
I think. I don't remember where I was going now.
Sounds about right.
What were we talking about?
Keep going, Kumar.
We're just hoping the all Drug Olympics comes along and puts the Olympics to bed. If I owned a zoo and you could have sex with anything you want in it, what would you have sex with?
No, you're talking
A
about
female zookeeper?
That's the answer.
Is that the answer?
Of course it is. You were the. Well, do they have manatees?
The best was his response was, "Now you're talking my
Okay,
language."
Hold on a sec. Back up.
Yeah.
Zookeeper is off the table.
I have to fuck an
Humans
animal?
are off the table. You have to fuck an animal, but you have your choice of any animal in the zoo.
Okay, whichever one has the most female-like vagina and
think
the
it's the
least
shark.
the least hooves.
I think the shark has the most female-like vagina.
Well, that's going to be a tough one to mount.
So figure that out.
Might want to get a
I'm
muzzle.
going to wine and dine it first. Like, I'm not just jumping in raw, obviously. I'm going to bring in some fish, some chum.
Gonna watch Sharknado.
Yeah.
Zoos don't. This is an aquarium you're talking about.
Yeah, but that's where
that's
his
not-
mistake.
zoos-
in the
some
very-
Not
zoos
on the
zoo
menu.
have
my
Okay, so
friend.
there's no- okay, fine.
it's
He doesn't
not
know what the
true.
fuck. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Of course, some zoos have aquariums.
How about a giraffe? I'll take a giraffe.
Dude, you definitely don't want to fuck a giraffe.
Sure you do.
Why would you want to fuck a giraffe?
Because stilts are probably fun.
I'm pleading the fifth. Bodybuilding is just basically a forum to use steroids.
Yeah.
When you're young, you think, wow, that guy's just so strong. But it really was just guys
And tanning.
and tanning.
Well, hold on. It still takes an awful lot of work. You don't just take steroids and become as big as fucking those bodybuilders.
No, it's a completely useless endeavor, really. Except for the-
Bodybuilding is. I'm just saying.
You're saying?
What are you saying? Why are you angry?
I don't know why.
This guy knows what he did.
No, I stopped myself from interrupting you.
Kamar's making it seem like you pop a couple of steroids
Oh, and you're
and
just
all of a
gigantic,
sudden
yeah.
you're a fucking bodybuilder. That's not at all how it works. You take steroids and don't work out, and we'll see how big you get.
I know, but it's not like it's functional strength. Like bodybuilders are good at helping lift. It's completely a vanity sort of thing, and it's all.
No, I get what he's saying. I
disagree.
get what he's saying. Like, what they should do is have it at someone's house where they're moving. And so it's like, look at, so there's a
How about this?
spotlight
How about
on
this?
them.
What do you find more interesting? Bodybuilding, like of course you don't find it interesting at all, or World's Strongest Man.
Okay, I get it. They should just do bodybuilding. Shouldn't just be all posing. They should make them do actual events. Then you'd be happy.
I don't care. this is what they were,
Make them fight in phone booths or
don't
something.
care.
this is what they were talking about.
Kumar, I don't care.
Because I feel like Derek has gone down the road. He believed plates and dates, and like you said, he's realized that's not the way, but he's stuck sort of in his lane. It's all Arnold's fault. His success and everything is what bodybuilding is more of a.
I don't know about his fault. He definitely
Small
brought it.
hobby.
He definitely brought it to like
Shone
the
the light
fucking
on it.
forefront for sure.
Well, he was like a normal size bodybuilder too. Like in the world of bodybuilding, he wasn't even that big. When you look at him next to like
When you look at him compared to everyone now, but back then, I think
Coleman, he's like, I'm telling you, he wasn't that big. He was handsome. That was the whole thing. Most of those guys were handsome.
beautiful I am. Smoke this cigar.
Yeah. So what I have to say in summary is that usually he would
In
come.
summary of this episode,
What, really? They didn't talk about UFOs. They didn't have
Yeah, what do you
big
want?
They talked about OnlyFans.
What do you want?
They talked about trans. If you want to go down,
No, I don't. I don't.
no, but sometimes there's one point of contention where Derek,
Check my notes for his name.
it is Derek, right? Suggested Mike might have been on steroids when he bit Evander's Holyfield's ear off, and Joe's really like, "Oh, what's your source?" So I need to see.
What's your?
I don't know. The fact that he had such crazy fucking roid rage that he bit some dude's ear off. I don't think you have to Pepe Sylvia that one too far.
It's true. It's a short trip, isn't it?
I think Joe.
What's your proof?
I think Joe just didn't want to believe it.
What's your proof?
The piece of the guy's ear laying on the ground. Yeah.
And
That was a crazy moment too. I remember that moment when he bit his fucking ear. That was nuts.
I was in Orleans
That
at my
was
dad's
nuts.
house watching. My dad was livid.
I can't tell you how many Mike Tyson fights I can remember getting so geeked up for and them ending in like 30 seconds and just being like, what the fuck, man?
but you sort of long for that, someone to come along and do that.
Yeah, you did.
And the fact that that hasn't happened makes that all the more impressive.
Yeah, the fact that he was just
Keep
out there
waiting for
starching
some heavyweight that just knocks everyone out. I mean, I guess he was almost the fella there that lost to Tyson Fury.
Deontay Wilder.
Exactly. He had shades of that. Yeah, I don't know why Derek was on the show, to be honest with you. I don't think we learned anything more than he's already brought out.
It's true. It really was just a chat. There was
Just
no
really
sort
A lot
of
of
new-
protein talk.
Yeah.
Joe eats a couple pounds of...
I mean, he did bring that
Meat day.
USADA shit to that they were probably doing what the Russians were doing. What's crazy is USADA was like, listen, if you rat on people, we'll let you juice up.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had
weird.
agents.
Yeah. So weird.
It's crazy.
You want to be the best of the best? Tell us which other swimmers are cheating. You can be the best swimmer out there.
You can keep on juicing until your heart's content.
I give it a 1.
I'll give it a 2.
I'll give it a 1.5.
Well, there you have it. All right, gang. If you've made it this far, that's impressive. Maybe you're willing to go a step further. We have a Patreon. If you want to support the show, head over to patreon.com/JREE podcast. You can support the show for as little as $5 a month. For that $5, you will get the show after the show, the post show, the show after show. We shoot the shit. You'll also get old episodes of This Won't Age Well, the show where we went back and listened to old episodes, the same shit we do here. Moon Debate, We Might Be Trash, all sorts of stuff on there. Patreon.com/JREE podcast. Go check us out. Thank you so much to BetterHelp. We hope you all have a great week. We hope you enjoy your weekend. And as usual,
Keep your eyes open.